Danfo offers unparalleled, curated, and bespoke tours across Africa for travelers seeking genuine cultural experiences, enriched with magnificent sights, sounds, and flavors found on the continent. Each trip is reliably curated to ensure visitors are gifted with an immersive and authentic adventure. Whether you find yourself strolling along the charming white sand beaches of Sierra Leone, feasting on the mouth-watering delicious foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshi traditional system Ifa native to Yoruba land, Nigeria, with Danfo, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danfo, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Danfo, Africa. To learn more, visit danfo.africa.
Yo, peace family. We are back again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Thank you all. Thanks so much for joining. Hit that like button again. Please hit that like button. Also, make you share and make sure you subscribe. Got a couple of announcements. We were on here yesterday, and I'm sorry. Happy Memorial Day to all the vets. You know, if you served in the U.S. military or whatever you call it. You know, if you're a GI Joe, happy Memorial Day. Hopefully you get some some barbecue and ribs and stuff. You know what I mean? And hopefully you're enjoying your day. Me and some of my friends from college, we got up this morning and had breakfast. And I just been chilling for the day. Got up early this morning. Went on a run on the belt line. If you guys are familiar with the belt line here in Atlanta, I love it. Now, some people are very critical on it and don't like it, but I love the belt line. My house is right near the belt line, so it's convenient as hell. So I go run the belt line, go run about 4 or 5 miles. And that's what I did this morning. Yeah, but stop hating on the belt line. All right. Again, stop hating on the belt line. The belt line is nice. So guys, hit that like button. Make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. We just got back from Senegal. Had a great time in Senegal. And next we're going to Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival. Then we're going to Zanzibar in September for Safari Blue. Then we're doing Kenya in September for I'm partnering with Reverse Culture, and it's going to be more focused on. There's a couple of days focused on medical wellness or medical tourism, which is wellness and real estate. So we're doing that in Kenya. Then we got Ghana and Ivory Coast in November, as well as Sierra Leone in November as well. And then we got Benin in January for the Voodoo Festival. So if you're interested in joining us on one of our excursions, please visit danfo.africa. Again, please visit danfo.africa. That's DANFO. .africa. Excuse me. To learn more. I'd love to have you on one of our excursions. We have a great time. Again, we have a great, awesome time. When we in Africa. Again, when we in Africa, we have a awesome time. So again, love to host you. Love to host you. What's going on in the chat? Shout out to Arzuls. Welcome back. Dynus and High Mods. Hello to you as well. Guys, I put the link in the chat room. So if you want to call in early, you're more than welcome to call in and add to the convo early. But yeah, before, when, Sonko and Faye, when they first got elected, word on the street was they was going to follow and join the AES possibly. Again, word on the street was they were going to possibly join the AES, because they were bringing that radical anti, kick the French out, kick out the West spirit. So they were like, hey, Senegal is going to be the next country to join the AES. Well, the way things are going, that might not be the case. Hold on, we got a caller. And bye, go ahead.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. What's up? I
What's
think it's
going on?
that Diomaye Faye remove Faye from this from the government.
Diomaye Faye remove who?
The Sonko from government.
Okay.
And I think that is very good. It's very important to get it done because we need to get out of the current situation that they're currently in when it comes to the IMF situation. Them being in depth of over 132%. But that's what I wanted to add. This is my first time coming on some type of.
Are you Senegalese?
Yes, I'm a Senegalese descent.
Okay, yeah, you know what? So I just got back from Senegal, and the temperament is they're not really big fans of Faye, the people.
In my opinion, I believe they're not big fans of it because unfortunately, there's a lot of individuals who don't have access to education, and those are the ones that could be easily manipulated into believing rhetorics because people exploit the minds of others, and also they have constitutional rights to vote, and those are the ones who end up voting him in. That's just my position on that. But yeah. Thank you for allowing me to be on your show, though.
Oh, no problem. And also, too, it seems like they're not really impressed with the AES, the people who are on the ground in Senegal.
Yeah, I have to do some more research on that.
All right, go ahead, CD.
Hey, Dennis.
Hey.
Hey, so these two guys, both of them have no experience. They just barely, you know, tax collectors. Tax collectors in Africa sometimes they don't have, that much knowledge. They just pass around, collect money from the Lebanese from school to school. So they came with the rhetoric that they're going to get rid of the West, and Senegal is in debt. Or as the guy said, they have $7 billion missing, and besides that, average of a lot of African countries, 70% of their GDP in debt. For Senegal, is about 132% in debt, and at the same time, they need $2 billion to keep the government functioning, right? The so you might find saying that it should increase the prices of gas. They have gas problem going on in the country. Well, Sonko is saying no, we can't do that. This is not what we were elected for, and the country barely functioning right now. They are in the point where their bond market is being sold out. People selling the bonds in the country. So the country is facing serious economic crisis right now. So I think this is what he wanted. He wanted to be out. He's happy that he's out. and he probably thinking that he want to go to be head of the parliament. So basically, the country is in serious crisis, you know, and $7 billion that got missing. They said was Macky Sall that stole the money. Nobody know whether he did that or not. But when it came, they started playing with expenditure. They started spending over their limit, and now the country is in serious crisis. Uh, Comparing it with Burkina Faso and Mali, they seems to be more stable than Senegal when it comes down to economic of the country. You know, Burkina, IMF running to the hand of Burkina Faso because of the resources. The same thing with IMF, but now Senegal is chasing IMF to give them money. So they're barely functioning right now. So they are in serious problems. So people saying they John, they can rescue AES. AES will probably rescue Senegal, then Senegal rescuing AES at this point. Uh, so it's serious. Firing Sonko will not take the country anywhere. They are deeply into big trouble right now. Uh, so when their finance minister came and mentioned all of these, uh, Faye didn't want him to make the public be aware of this. That's why when you let people that have no experience because of populism, because of some sort of radical ideology that we don't need in French, but they don't know, they barely know how the government functions, and then they find themselves in this scenario where there's no way that they can get out. So that's where the problem is right now. Um, yeah, they're struggling a lot. You know, they planning to tax individual Senegalese. At the same time, they want to increase the gas price. And this is why Sonko was against that. They can't do that. But if you can't do that, how the government is going to function, you know? So they barely surviving. They are in the hand of IMF right now. And IMF don't even want to accept them because uh, they barely surviving. They are in serious debt. They can't get out of it right now. But I'll learn for now. Thanks.
All right, go ahead, V.
All right, guys, how are you all doing?
Good.
All right, okay. I mean, from what I've studied and heard, yeah, had a conversation with someone. Um, Between those two guys, a lot of people who like the ideas that they were sort of putting forward while they were campaigning or in the opposition are angry with Sonko. They're angry with Sonko in a sense that he brought this fired guy forward. And when people question his capabilities and, you know, the position that he's asking them to sort of trust on this man, can he cope with it? He assured them that he can. But a lot of people had their doubts. But at that time, and even now, their supporters, you know, listen to Sonko and everything else he says. So they're saying that if Sonko is not happy with what Fayed is doing, he had to blame himself. I mean, looking at it from my point of view, I'm not Senegalese and I'm not living there. From what I was picking up from the news and other channels and so forth, I also blame Sonko because you brought this man forward. And some people that may be being cynical, they're saying that he brought him forward, are thinking that maybe he can control him. And now he's got the power, and he told him, no uncertain terms, that I am the president and I appoint you. Now, regarding their economical situation, you cannot blame it that entirely on these two. What people are blaming them on is that they have let their personal relationship get in the way of getting something done. And at the moment, the loggerhead came when Sonko was arguing the fact that they shouldn't, you know, go to IMF, but they should renegotiate certain contracts with some companies, because some of the contract that they inherited from Macky Sall is the same or woefully 8%, 12%, 18%. I believe they negotiated some contract that Sonko is really up and about it that they should renegotiate. That was about 18% of their resources. And this company, and even the oil as well, apparently the oil company that is drilling their oil is taking so many barrels of oil out of Senegal. It gets taken out and Senegal has to buy the finishing product back in foreign currency. And this have put them up to the wall. The debt is nothing to do with them. It's from the previous dubious government. Now, when it comes to Fayyad, you are saying that I heard the CD said they are inexperienced, but what the previous government experienced, they got the country in a mess. So what is the experience there? And the fact that somebody may have done certain jobs previously doesn't mean that they have. You need to surround yourself with good, experienced technocrats to advise you how to go forward. These two guys are having an argument about an approach to the situation that they are in. The IMF wants to talk to them, but Sonko was saying that they cannot put all the blame to let the Senegalese people suffer because of the mistake of some of the people that they were in previous government, which both of them apparently, apparently with this one, you can't blame Fayyad alone. You have to blame Sonko as well, because apparently they said that Sonko appointed the justice minister. And these people, when they arrested them, for some reason, they couldn't get their job done properly, to investigate them properly, to find out where that missing money is. So they have to release them. So it's a fault of both of them. But my fear is Fayyad is now surrounding himself with the same old people that ran the country to the ground in the first place. So what's going to be different? And that is why a lot of people are very disappointed. It is a shame. You know, these old leaders that we have in Africa. I mean, the IMF is what cost the previous Ghanaian government a lot of vote. A lot of their supporters didn't bother. Over 2 million of their supporters didn't even bother to go out and vote because he has to go to the IMF. We sit there and we say, oh, deal with the West, deal with the... What has France done for these countries? Can somebody tell me? I don't see it. I don't see it. You have these companies that come into your country. I mean, look at what the AES has done. They have, they went after these companies and renegotiated their contract. Now they're getting some decent money back from their own resources. And Senegal and Fayyad and this Sonko and Fayyad should have really put their foot down and go after this contract that it was so badly negotiated that it's not worth even Senegal having. Now Senegal is having so much problem. Everything is expensive. You go into IMF, they're going to ask you, I mean, they're going to put so much restrictions on you. They will stop you stop you from even renegotiating those contracts because they don't like that kind of thing anyway. They're going to put restrictions on employment. There's a huge unemployment issue all over that region in West Africa, and Senegal is no different. So what is IMF going to do? IMF is not our solution. It's not the solution to our problems. The solution to our problems is having honest, decent, strong leaders that will sit there and negotiate a contract that is worth our while. Because at the moment, we don't have any industrial we're not processing most of our natural resources anyway. It's all been taken. And if it's been taken, why don't you negotiate a better deal? You know, I mean, Senegal has a lot of gas, they have a lot of gas, but yet apparently everything is expensive. Nigeria, if you take out Nigeria, apparently they're the next with a huge gas discovery. And Nigeria now is laying a gas pipeline from their coast, going along the West Africa coast, all the way up to they're going to take it up to Spain or something, or it'll be stopped at Morocco, and then I don't know how they will get it to Spain, but that's what they're doing. And yet we have to pay, and look at Nigeria. Nigeria doesn't even believe in building a electricity plant to use their excess gas to produce enough electricity for their people. This is the kind of woeful, pathetic leadership we have. And it's a shame if these two, Sonko is out now. And apparently the Senegalese even want him out of there so that Fayyad because Fayed is complaining, he is complaining, and they're saying that, well, we voted for Fayed, so let him have the chance to rule and see what he can do. But I don't hold much hope about the people that he's surrounding himself with, because he's gone back to the same old people who have been doing damage upon damage upon damage to Africa. I'm not just saying Senegal alone, it's all along, especially in that West Coast Africa. And the Sahelians are breaking away and people are complaining. I can understand why they need to break away. We need a fresh approach. We need a different approach. They repeat the same old thing. It's like merry-go-round. You go round and round and come back to the same point. You're not going to. But then with this idea that we sit there every minute, oh, let the West come in and solve what for us? How long have we known these people? Okay, the West, maybe 600 years. Okay, 600 years they came down to the Guinea coast. What did they do? Take people. After the colonializers, my father told me a story that where he come from. If Diners might know, it's along our coast, the Cape Coast area, Takrady, and they say that when they were young, we used to have so much mahogany and timbers that when they cut them, the British built a railway line straight into the forest where they could cut those trees, and the train would bring the locks of huge mahogany trunks and throw them. And he said when they were young, they used to go and stand there. They visit family and stuff. They can go and stand and see those big timber logs bobbing on the sea, and it's all being shipped out. They are not going to do anything for us. If we do not sit there and find solutions to our problem, nobody's going to develop your country for you. Nobody developed China for China. When China was humiliated many times by the British, you all know about the Opium Wars, when the British were sending opium into China, and the Chinese people, I think Shanghai or something, and the Chinese people became very addicted, and the Chinese leadership at the time, I don't remember very well, were begging the British to stop. The British were making so much money, they refused. They went to war with China. They defeated Chinese. And from there, the Chinese started learning that, nobody's coming to do anything for us. And when Chairman Mao came in, what did he do? People say, oh, he sent a lot of people into starvation. But he was telling the Chinese, you have to do for yourself. And Africans, get into your head. Nobody's going to come and develop your country for you. IMF doesn't go into a country to develop it. Let me
one second. Paul Smith, turn your camera on so I can see who you are before I let you on. Paul Smith, turn your camera on so I can see who you are before I let you on. Let me pass the mic to Africa. Go ahead, Africa.
Yeah, greetings to everyone, Brother Dynas, Brother CD, and V. I hope you're well.
Yeah.
We're doing great,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, well, nice one. Yeah, to be honest, I was, I don't know if it's true, but I spoke to one of my Senegalese brother today, again, because I'm not from Senegal, I don't like to speculate. It's one thing that's not good when you come to other people's country, unless if you have, surface knowledge of what's going on. But he's saying it's all politics between the two guys. That is all politics going on, but there's no really that deep issue that people are making it out to be. But I hope that's the case. But to me, I still have doubt. But what I'm seeing in Senegal I think Senegal, what they're facing right now is similar to some of the countries who already developed what they're facing. It seems like they spend a lot of money. The government is spending money because the government is getting bigger. Okay, it's getting bigger. They need to cut down. It's
Okay,
all
Paul.
based on
All right,
fiscal.
hold on one second. Paul, you can turn your camera back. You can turn your camera off, Paul.
Yeah, to me, I think it's based on fiscal policies. They need to, instead of going to IMF, they could actually do some things, domestically, and basically cut some of the government services that they provide, and actually live within their means, because they got the hydrocarbon, which is actually a boom for them at the moment. They could actually expand on that, and see where they can actually get a bit more money towards tax, and create more employment for the local youth. It seemed like he is probably um, an and ideological differences going on between those two, where the one probably is more for a bigger government and the other one is more for smaller government. But I hope someone from Senegal will come and help us out, and on that, the internal wrangling going on between the two brothers. But the problem we have in Africa is at the moment, when something happens, we don't know. We always speculate. This populism sometimes become a bit worrying because we don't know exactly what's going on between the countries. And sometimes when we speculate, it can be quite bad also. Senegal is a very resilient country. I'm sure they will go what they're going through now. They will go past it because they managed to do something that not many West African countries managed to achieve. Over the years, like Senegal, have a good infrastructure. Their population living really well, and they have a really strong diaspora. They're very sorry.
Yeah, tell them to stay away from the IMF. They're nothing but legalized loan sharks. Always have been, always will be.
They should stay away from it. Yeah. So basically, they should look
Stay
at the
fuck away
domestic.
from the IMF or the World Bank.
Yeah, 1 second. I'll pass the mic when I'm done. Okay. So I think they should look at their fiscal policies, internally, and see where they can actually cut some of the services that they provide. And I don't know. I don't like the word austerity, but if that's what they have to do, and diversify the economy a little bit instead of going to IMF, that'd be a great idea. But yeah, it's a very resilient country. They have managed to achieve a lot throughout the history and throughout, West Africa. A lot of people go to Senegal to earn a living. They live there happily, and the economy has always been quite strong, and they manage to provide good electricity, good services for their locals. So compared to some of the neighboring countries, so they must be doing something right over the years. Well, something is happening here. Something is cooking. I hope it actually end up well between the two brothers.
The French are involved.
Yeah, and also, I hope something good comes out of this for the benefit of the Senegalese people. I pass the mic for that. Thank you.
All right, go ahead, Paul.
I just heard I've been watching a few African channels related to Africa, and they're based in I think it's one channel called Subi Shop. The Subi Shop, if you've ever watched that channel, and he's basically he fears that this will give the opportunity for France to get its nails into West Africa, as it's lost out on Nigeria, Mali, and Burkina Faso, and they want to use it as a staging place for a possible invasion of those three countries to what can I say, sow more discontent or sow a kind of a conflict there between France and those three countries. So watch out for France and Macron.
Well, from my understanding, I don't think the Senegalese will want France back. They want to move away from.
Good.
The people will not accept that. But the question is how they get out of the current difficulty they're in. But they're going to the IMF. They're going to have a meeting with them.
That's the wrong way of going about it. Yeah.
Well, he's going to fight. That is what caused the problem between him and Sonko. They've had a lot of problems, but that is
they have
major.
to go to IMF. They have no other options. Right now, the country is in serious financial trouble.
It doesn't need the IMF.
The oil that you're talking about, the offshore drilling is very, very expensive to get to the oil. So people with the technology, when they come, they get your oil out. You only get 20%.
The company is there drilling, and it's only giving. I think they're giving Senegal. Apparently they're drilling a huge amount of barrels every day, and the Senegal is only getting about 18% out of it. That is really low.
Yeah, it's the same. Even in Ivory Coast, the Italians are doing it for Cote d'Ivoire. They're getting 20%.
So that's how it works. That's how it's supposed to work.
That's not how it's supposed to work.
Hold on.
That's why we are not developing. That is not how it's supposed to work.
I think it was my time to speak if you don't mind.
Sorry. I mean, if you look at IMF, lot of countries, a lot of the developed countries go to IMF. I mean, it's all depend on the
Yeah, but
terms that you go
they
in
seem
there
to
with.
have a better
And
conditions than
A
we
lot of them are
do.
moving away from
Guys,
IMF now.
let the new person on the panel speak, please.
yeah,
Look,
no problem.
Listen,
hello.
Elvis, don't come here and do your big shot thing, yeah?
Yeah, Elvis, allow
Don't
it.
do
Respect
it.
the lady, man.
I mean,
Respect the lady.
I just came on. I came
No,
on
you
Yeah.
after the other brother.
No, I will just ask for it to be in order. That's
Yeah,
why
I'm
he
just
said.
Oh
asking to
yeah,
speak. I'm not making an
no
argument with
problem.
anybody.
He just said that it should be in
Oh,
order. That's what he
mhm.
Right.
said.
So, hello to you guys. First of all, happy Memorial Day to the Americans on the panel listening. Look,
Yeah.
I'm just going to say this, and
No, I think
government.
Elvis. Someone haven't spoken. Someone in
Oh, okay,
by.
okay. If it's by,
Yeah,
maybe you skipped over him then.
the guy
yeah.
Because
with the P.
you spoke. It's supposed to be by the Paul, but then
Yeah.
Diners went to Paul.
Yeah, and by after Paul, by. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Let Elvis
Yeah,
speak now. I
it's
mean,
your
he
turn.
already started.
No, let by. Let it go by turn.
Okay,
Let by
so
speak.
Follow
Give
as,
some.
the order,
as
don't
far as
follow
the
the order. Don't
speculation
make an
goes,
order and change it for somebody else. You said you want to go by order, follow the order.
Yeah, by go on. Nanga def.
mind you for
Let me
that. As
see.
far as the speculation goes, I'm going to refrain from any speculation comments. But as I said before, in some substance, this is a direct. Hold on one second. Somebody go, and I'll come back and speak.
Yeah. By go on. It's
Okay.
your turn.
All right. So the point I was trying to make
No,
was,
it's by. It's Elvis. Sorry, it's by turn.
I don't know if you're
He said,
hearing.
Elvis.
He said I should go Africa. Sometimes you gotta relax, right? You're not the moderator.
Okay.
that's what the guy said. That Elvis should go. So
Right. So
Okay, no
like
problem. Sorry, Elvis. Sorry,
like
sir.
TD was saying, and V and others, they're sophisticated and smart enough to understand that if you have a resource under your ground and you have no means of getting it from under your ground, for example, when it comes to oil or other natural resources that you lack the capacity to get, those people who bring in the machinery and the expertise, they have the leverage. They're going to have a favorable deal or negotiation when you negotiate a deal because they have the capacity and you lack the capacity. So most African countries, they barely have the machinery to go, offshore and dig for oil and build rigs and have the engineers that's going to make sure that that oil is coming out and being barreled and being shipped. Even the tankers that the oil companies have, most African countries don't even have their own oil tankers. So all of the cost and all of the expertise are on the foreign companies that's coming to drill for oil, for example. So they're taking the risk. They're taking the burnt of the burden to get the oil out of offshore. So they get most of the revenue from the oil. So that's the reality of it. So it's not everything is not economic oppression. Sometimes a country realizes that they don't have the capacity, and those who have the capacity are going to come and help. I'd rather get 20% of maybe $500 million or 0% of zero, because if you can't drill the oil, you can't get nothing. You're not going to get any revenue from it. But the second thing is, most of these countries are economically tied to the IMF, like CD was saying. You go there and you take loans. They give you certain, stipulations, in terms of servicing that debt and repayment of that debt. So when you're out of government and you're just an activist on the side, and you're advocating against the government, you don't know the intricacies of how well your country is tied to the IMF or the International Monetary Fund. Once you
The
get there as
privilege.
a president, you look at the full picture and the bigger picture, and you realize, wow, we're in some deep, so to speak,
I
doodle.
disagree.
You have to now make certain decisions that's in the best interest of your country. The people may not like it because nowadays this wave of anti-French and anti-Western, that's kind of
Anti-Western.
that's kind of going over West Africa. But when the president really look at the books, so to speak, you realize, well, we're in some deep shit. So now we have to make certain
I
concessions.
Can I
We
just
have to
step in
go
there,
in
man?
there. Say that again.
I can step in there. I don't think a lot of these
Okay.
leaders are doing
You
it in
can
the
step
interest
in. I mean, it was your
in the
time
interest of
anyway.
their people. I
Go
don't think
ahead.
they're
Go ahead.
doing
You
it in
got
the
the
best
mic.
interest. I don't think they're doing it. I don't think a lot of these leaders are doing it in the interest of their people. They're making money themselves. They're basically taking money out of the country themselves. So I I'd be skeptical to say whether they're doing it on the best interest of the country or the people of those particular countries. And also, a lot of countries are not actually. A lot of people are refusing IMF loans. Apparently, yeah. There's a growing
Senegal is not
movement.
refusing it. They want it because the other crisis is people there's a sell off of their bonds. So a lot of Senegalese don't even know that.
No.
When people selling
the
the
leaders
government
that
bond,
want
that's
it,
a
but
serious
not the
crisis.
people. The people are against it.
Yeah, but the people don't know what's
People don't
going
know.
on with the books of the country, and they don't know the country's
They don't know.
liabilities. They don't know. So
When the people selling off the
Yeah, but the
government
people
bond,
also
that's a
know
serious
that those
crisis.
deals haven't done anything good. Haven't done them any favors in the past. They also know they've been screwed over, so they probably
I
want an
mean, what do
alternative
you
to the
think?
IMF.
These companies and these banks are not altruistic. They're not there to be philanthropists and come and give you free money and help you and do you favors. It's a business deal. It's a
No, but
business
Yeah, I
deal.
mean
they can go.
If you
I mean
have
They
that's
can go to
minimal
the
China or they can
collateral,
go
you
to
have to.
Russia. They can go
yeah,
to
that's the point
China
I
or they
was
can go to Russia.
that's the point I was
Exactly.
sorry, that's the point sorry guys, that's the point I was making earlier. I mean the government will have to look at their fiscal policies, whether they want a small government or they want a big government, like basically where, if they want
Yeah.
more private sector initiative in it, but they obviously have to make sure they got a good deal from it. Like, you already mentioned that's one of the aspects I'm talking about, because these private companies will come in, they will invest in the sector. So they have to they make some money from it, and also the government will have to get their own cut. Because the thing is,
What?
like, having to nationalize. Otherwise, the other option would be to nationalize a lot of these companies. But we know how it's like in Africa. This government are not really good at looking at, nationalizing or maintaining this stuff. Like nationalization of companies, you have to be consistent, and most African countries are not. Eventually they're more likely to drown these companies anyway.
The AES are doing it. Seem to be doing fine by
Yeah, but
nationalising their
Oh yeah,
resources. Yeah.
oh,
Africa,
yes, is
Africa.
doing it, but
If someone say that you should nationalize offshore drilling, first of
yeah,
all, people sometimes African think when you have the resources, then you have the cash automatically on hand. Some of these contracts go up to 5 to 6 to 10 years, right? And now
right,
these guys they have an emergency on hand. They don't have no cash. The gas prices go. They have to increase the price of gas. The government bond where they issue government bonds, people are selling. There's a sell off for Senegalese government bond right now. How many Senegalese know that? And all these bonds that
yeah,
people holding, most of the time they are the investors, Western investors that buy the government bonds. It's almost like
right,
US bond. When they say China is in debt to America is in debt to China, it's just a US Treasury bond. When they sell it, the Chinese are the one that buy it a lot, right?
yeah.
So when there's no confidence in the government is going through financial crisis, people want their cash back. They sell
And
the bond and they want
see,
money from the government.
let me say this right.
Yeah, exactly. That's
For
that's one of the aspects, like,
Africa,
because
I asked to
yeah.
speak. Please let me speak. Don't speak over me, please. So,
No,
for like,
Elvis, stop being a silly guy. But I'll let you speak. But I just trying to
I
respond
mean,
to
it's no.
CD. You're
CD
trying to tell me
spoke.
not to
I
be
want
quiet.
to pick it
Okay,
back off.
I will civilizely let you speak, but stop speaking to me like that, please.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean,
Yeah.
Very
you
condescending.
always
Very,
speaking.
very
And
Calm down.
condescending.
you came and
Very,
God,
got
very
your.
condescending.
just
Just
behave
bear that in
yourself.
mind. You're very condescending.
I mean, I don't get this. We're all
Yeah.
having a conversation. What
No,
did I
but
say that was condescending?
we're not here
Calm
to
I was
down.
argue. We
quiet
haven't.
for like 5 minutes. CD, and
You're not
other
making
guys
any
spoke. I
input.
want to
You're not
jump in.
making any. You're hardly making any input on this conversation. All you're
Okay,
doing is
yeah.
trying to shut people down.
Thank you.
But I will let you speak. Go on,
Okay,
speak.
yeah, thank you for letting me speak. Right, thank you. Well, the point I was trying to make to your point, CD, is that Senegal is in trouble. They've been in trouble for a while. They had a deal with Liberia, right, to come on our shores and fish because one of the biggest industry was fishing, like CD,
Yeah.
and the fish has been, the fishery has been really depleted over the years. So they have to come to other African countries and make deals so that they can be allowed to fish on their shores and take it back to Senegal. Because a lot of the tuna, a lot of tuna and a lot of fish that came from Africa that were shipping to Europe, and they overfish their ocean, which is incredible. And now they're in trouble with their fish, their aquaculture. They're having issues with that. So Senegal, while it's a developing, a peaceful country, right now they're realizing that they're in a deep financial doo-doo. And I think the president is trying everything he can do, to fix it. That's his primary focus. It's not about politics and people trying to, shine. You can't have two cooks in the kitchen when it comes to African politics. You have the president, that's the main guy. That's it. There's not dual presidency. There's not, two superstars at the helm of government. There's only one guy, the guy who got elected and was constitutionally constituted as the president. He's the head of government. He's the head of the country. So what the other guy was doing, I know he's popular. He got his own grassroots support, but let the president who's there now find the best way possible to handle the economic issues in Senegal. But I'll pass the mic.
Yeah, Mbai, it's your turn now, brother. You can speak.
Sonko needs to get rid of
Mbai, no, sorry, Mbai, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. Thank
Yeah,
you.
but you can come in now, because you're Senegalese, aren't you? So it'd be nice to hear from you.
I'm not going to be biased. I'm going to be real. I'm going to try to be transparent as possible. And I'm safe. I'm in the United States, so I'm allowed to be transparent as possible. So moving forward, when it comes to the situation, yes. So in the substance, the president has the right to fire somebody who he has no confidence in. This is a direct result of tension, power struggle. And Ousmane Sonko has been removed. But he's not, from what I understand, there's a possibility that he may become a speaker. And the main objective is to, get the country out of a 132%, debt crisis. That's horrible. And so that's my opinion when it comes to that. As far as, people trying to do things outside of the realms of the IMF, obviously they tried it sometime and it didn't work. So I guess they may have to get
alternative to the IMF.
Yeah, I agree.
What people have to accept is these foreign companies that we saw in, want to talk about as some sort of sin. They are not sin. They come to us with very predatory kind of contract. And unfortunately, most of our leaders fall for it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
You can't keep repeating the same mistakes and think you will get somewhere. That's what I don't understand. Everybody we're running to them. The IMF, when they give,
I'm not cutting you off. So the thing you want, before Ghana could go to IMF, they was 70%, right? That's the average debt by GDP of all African countries, right? Senegal, Senegal is like 232%. They have no base.
It's crisis. We all accept that. It's
so
listen,
this
it's
is where they
crisis.
are.
But what I'm saying is, France is worse, but they're supposed to be taken along. UK is in a similar, but you see, because
all the countries in the world are in this, most developed countries and developing countries.
They need to go to the EAS and join up with them.
Japan is the same. Yeah. It's similar to what the Senegal is in now. But when these countries, because of our corruption, our bad leadership, that is what we all have to accept. The leadership in Africa is woeful. It's disgusting. So when we try to make excuses for them, he's this guy sitting there can't do nothing. That guy, he's surrounded himself with it's a woman that he's very close to. I think she's called Mimi Touré.
Aminata
or Mimi?
Aminata. She's Madingo. Aminata Touré.
The name I've read and I've seen is they say Mimi. So if it's the same person,
they call Aminata and Mimi. It's the same. They call it Mimi sometimes.
Australia will say Mimi, Aminata.
She was a prime minister. No, let me just finish my before I lose my throat. She was a prime minister, and she was part of the people that caused this debt that's sitting there. And this guy has called them all back. They're the ones that got his ear now. Okay, but these are the people that caused the mess. So if they could have solved and resolved the problem, why did they cause the mess in the first place? You see, it's like a circle. It's like it's something that's going around in a circle that is never ending. The IMF, when Japan is in a similar situation to Senegal, Japan is over 100 and something debt. Every country is under debt distress. UK is under debt distress. Ghana,
but there's a difference. The difference is these countries have company, they
tangible
have company
assets.
that export. They
They
have
don't
the
have
Right.
okay,
resources
but
to support
these
those debt.
countries,
America is
why
$40 trillion debt,
they don't have
but
resources more than us. What these people
no,
have
B,
is
I'm not
is
talking about when sometimes we miss out resources to the amount of export that you do. If you look at America right now, right, with all these tech companies, with Boeing, they have a lot of companies that export stuff that can support their debt. It's $40
Mhm.
trillion, yes, but what Senegal export? Nothing, right? Except
what why do
resources.
they
So
Uh,
it's not
yeah,
the
Senegal
same. It's
export.
not the same type of debt. The people,
no
America can take in as much debt as they want, but
See,
some of
that's
the
why you have
company,
that's why you have credit ratings, right? Because they
exactly,
analyze your ability to pay
what
back and
no what it
analyze your
is
output.
what it
exactly.
is better governance that is that the countries
Senegal,
have.
sorry, Senegal export refined crude oil, gold, phosphate, acid, and as Iris mentioned earlier, fish product. About six
Listen,
billion.
their biggest export was fish, as ever said. The
No,
Chinese,
but
they
at the
invited
moment,
China.
it's
Macky Sall brought the Chinese. They took all the
oh
fish
yeah,
in the water,
I
right?
The
agree,
So
I agree,
Chinese
when it
I
no
agree.
lists all
But
these resources that they
no
have, all these resources,
mm,
sometimes they will say, okay, Senegal has a goal, right? And
mm,
also Sierra Leone has a goal. But
mm.
you look at the infrastructure of reaching to that goal. If you go to Burkina Faso, it's easier for you to reach to getting go out of Burkina Faso because you don't need that amount of infrastructure. You don't need that amount of expenditure to
Oh
reach to the
yeah,
goal,
I agree,
right?
I agree.
So all
Mm,
these phosphor, all these mineral that they list in Senegal, it will cost you
mm.
more money to get them than what you get out of it.
To extract it, and but
Right.
this is
So
why
that's why people don't
this is
understand. Africans, oh, we have
yeah,
resources. We are
yeah,
Guinea signed
no,
this money contract. It's going to take
yeah,
5, 6 years. What the Chinese give them? The Chinese give
the,
them what?
15%,
They give them
fifteen
they
percent.
do the progress billing in the sense that the amount that they're going
Mm.
to take out, that's the amount of money they're going to give to Guinea. They're not
Yeah,
going to come
fifteen
look at all
percent.
the resources and just give you the whole amount of cash
no
because this country, they are not
if
stable.
But
They don't need
no, but
leadership will
yeah,
come, they will get rid of
yeah,
them. So
with
yeah.
the,
it doesn't
CD,
work like that.
yeah,
People say, "Oh,
yeah.
Africa get resources," but it costs too
no
much money.
if
Africa,
Z,
Italy
one
getting
second, one.
Italians
come
are
on.
doing offshore
See,
drilling
it all
in the
comes
Ivory
down
Coast,
to
right?
Okay, yeah.
bad
No, I hear
governance.
you, CD.
It
So,
comes down
Okay,
to
let me
bad.
just
I was
yeah.
going to
Can I
say
respond?
quickly, well, let me
Mm,
finish that
okay.
quickly, then you can respond. It was the
Mm.
European Union that came to the Guinea Coast, particularly Spain and Portugal, that was down the Guinea Coast over fishing. And that was apparently Macky Sall, when it comes to the Senegalese coast, Macky Sall sort of allowed these people to come in for about mere $20 million or European euros, something like that. 20 million. And it was, and it was them. And the Chinese just came and tag along. We had similar problem in our coast as well, but the government was very strong and chased them as much as they can. But with the Senegal, the Macky Sall allowed them to come in and they overexhausted because we don't have those big, massive trawlers that just go with their big nets and trolling along the sea coast and destroying everything. We don't have that. We have a very
They call it dredging.
rudimentary kind of shipping fishing going on our coast. It was the European Union, and then and particularly
Stay
Spain
away from
and
them
Portugal.
too. Stay the fuck away from the European Union as well. Excuse my language.
Yeah, yeah.
Stay
I
away from
mean,
them.
yeah. I hear you, CD, and also what that's exactly the point I was saying about the system of governance, and I think that's one of the reasons why they dissolve in their parliament. I think there's something more deeper than what we are seeing here, and I think is partly they want to pass laws, that's going to be really, really difficult to pass. This is what I'm, seeing from the outside, okay? Because they came in as a populist government, they're gonna do this, they're gonna create more jobs and stuff like that. But now what they're facing is basically cutting costs to pay debt. So, they need to get hold of the parliament to start with to pass those laws. Because it's gonna be austerity. I believe they're gonna send
but
I, and
Africa,
CD,
you see,
let me ask a question. Let me ask a
want to
question real
leave.
quick, CD. For
Yeah.
maybe to ask a question, right? So when it comes to
yeah.
borrowing, I hear a lot of people they're skeptical, they're apprehensive about borrowing from the IMF and the World Bank and so forth. In Africa, do we have an alternative? I know we have the African Bank for African Bank of Development, right? For can
That's
these
Nah,
they've
it's
the,
not
got
the
good enough.
problem
it's
the
already
problem with
there.
that bank is it doesn't loan out great amounts, great amount of money, right? They can give you $20 million, 15. Some of these countries, when
Rubbish.
they're trying to borrow $500 million or even $1 billion, like for Nigeria, they got to go to China, go to big banks in China to borrow, or come to the big banks in
That's
Europe
China.
to borrow. So, do we have an alternative to not borrow from European-led entities and go to African-owned entities and borrow from them as nations?
Every time,
So
every
it's,
time I
we
speak
don't
to
we don't
Um,
we don't we don't even we don't have that. Even if we have it, because Senegal need $2 billion right now, right? That's what they need. But that's why people BCIO is there. BCIO is there. Why they can't go to BCIO? Because BCIO interest rate is higher than what IMF going to give them, right? IMF will give you a break. They will give you the number of years to pay a little by little. But most of
don't
these
trust
banks,
them. Stay the fuck away.
most of these other banks, they will give you higher interest rate and it will within a very short period of time, right? So if you have that pressure on the government and people
and
see
and
that the
they
bank is
also
IMF.
putting
do
too much pressure on the
structure
government,
adjustments, right? Where you have
yeah,
to have certain
So,
policies, domestic policies, that's going to enable you to pay that debt back. So you got to cut back on certain places in education,
yeah, but
or
what do they want in
or
return?
whatever.
decreasing oil price and all of that.
Right.
So it's too much.
What they
It's too
want?
much. It's too much pressure. I mean, even if you
All
look at
these
Ivory
people,
Coast right now, Cote d'Ivoire, even though it's far developed than Senegal,
all these people
but
are
they're
asking
doing
for
they're doing offshore
advocating for
drilling.
the
They did
IMF.
it through the Italian company. How much Ivory Coast is getting
right,
out of that? 20%. And then
right.
how many years it took them? 4 years to finish it. They just started production, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
why is it that Dangote is now going to this guy? He's going all the way to Angola to
I
get
mean, I
oil,
tell you
because
one
it's
one
easier to
thing.
get oil in Angola than going to the middle of the sea to get oil. First of all, the Dangote don't even have that amount of equipment to go into the middle of the sea to get oil. That's why he go to Angola, even getting oil from the US, right? So getting to those resources, there what the problem is. That's why when Trump went to Venezuela, the infrastructure is already been damaged, right? They have to spend a lot of. That's why a lot of oil companies were turning down Venezuela, because first the oil is dirty. Number one, number two, there's no infrastructure. The infrastructure has been damaged.
Yeah,
So
the
getting to
oil
these
is thick.
resources is called, yeah. So people will say, "Oh, this country get this oil,
But
get
but
this,
see,
get that."
it's not
But
even
what's the
just the
cost?
money, right? Look at Venezuela. They got a lot of revenue from oil, but they lack the capacity because those things are highly complicated to build. Those machineries to
Yeah,
get down there and dig for those thick oil, it's highly complicated. So a country can be
yeah.
very wealthy, but if you lack the expertise and the scientists and engineers to go out there and build the machines that can get it out,
You
you're
should
gonna be
build them at a
stuck.
time
You
when we
gotta
have the
Yeah.
chance to.
yeah.
Yeah, some company will even turn you down. The
Build
Yeah,
them
the
at
ExxonMobil
a
only
say
time
no,
when
company
we
they
that
have
don't
can
want
do
to do
that is like
Venezuela.
ExxonMobil that have the
Yeah,
engineers and the expertise to do it. So you're
to
stuck.
do it.
stay the fuck away from them.
Cosmos
Don't
too.
have any
Cosmos
Western
Energy.
companies on your territory asking for your oil. No.
You're talking, brother, but we're not really hearing. You're kind of like mumbling. We can't hear what you're saying.
I said
What
stay
Hello?
away from any of those Western multinational energy companies. Stay away from them.
But
Why?
They're
but
just
What's the
bullshit. That's all.
alternative then? If you stay away
what
from them, what's the alternative to get your oil out?
this is the part
develop
I
our
don't
own?
understand about African.
Why don't we
When
develop our own?
you can
Why don't we develop our own? Why would we? I
work with
mean,
it. Work with the
most of these
EES.
countries,
Well, until you
The
develop your
EES.
own, you have to work with what's there
yeah, but
now. That's why. You have no other
most
choice.
of these
but
governments,
They
most of
got
when
these
zero
governments have
emissions.
Asia
no
is more
interest in
developed than
developing their
us,
own.
when the Asians can
Huh?
work with the West, why we can't do the same thing? You can't.
The
First of all, we
Asians,
have not even
but
reached that level of Asians.
the
Then we don't want to
Asians,
work
the
with the
Because the
West.
Asians
deal has
The
not been
Asians are
structured.
moving away. The Asians are moving away. The Asians are developing. Look at a country like Taiwan, a very small, enclave, a small place. And now they hold all this new technology coming up. They are doing the best chips. The Singapore and Ghana had the independence similar say years. Ghana has tons of resources when we had we still do. Singapore has nothing, but look what Singapore has done. They worked with them to achieve what they want and they move away. We seem to be perpetually, constantly tagging on their coattail. and it's embarrassing.
Yes.
And they have no
Yes.
I
respect.
agree with you. I
They have no
agree. Do you know
respect.
why I agree with
It's
you? Do
embarrassing.
you know why I
The
agree with you?
Asian,
Do you know why I agree with you?
you know
It
what?
is a shame.
Japan, for instance, now makes some of the best still. You know who they learn it from? The Scottish. The Scottish.
Yeah, they're different. Yeah, exactly. I mean, listen. There are different type of relationship we could have with these countries, different corporations, without having to be the West or the East or the North or the South. It's a bit embarrassing, really, when people have to always have to emphasize we have to work with this group of people. We have to. Don't do that. Why are you doing that? If you keep trying the same thing and you get in the same results,
Exactly. And
is
it's
that
like
not a sign of madness? If you want any change,
you've
bro.
been doing the same thing over and over again, and we
I,
still.
I mean, even today, I was
That's
reading
why we're
something.
asking, what is the
I was
alternative that's
reading.
available to
One
us right
second,
now?
one second, guys. Elvis,
Me,
one
I'm
second.
in a
B, one
position of
second. I was reading one
developing
of the most prominent.
alternative.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, I apologize. I was reading one of the most prominent British newspaper that the elites read, and it's called the Telegraph. Okay, the Telegraph is one of the oldest, most
Oh
reliable
no!
newspaper.
Telegraph is full of shit.
But you know who reads the Telegraph, isn't it?
I'm from the UK.
No, but
You know,
I'm from the UK,
The
my
Telegraph
friend.
is a
No,
useless newspaper. If you want to
okay,
look
no,
at,
okay, listen.
if you want to look at,
Your opinion.
a good financial
If you're
newspaper,
listen,
Financial
yeah,
Times is far better than Telegraph.
I
That's your
agree with
opinion.
you, but okay, one second
Financial
before
Times is
you
far
interject.
better.
If you, I also read
Ian
Financial
Halligan is
Times. I
full of
read the
shit.
Telegraph. 1 second, okay. I read both of them, right? I read all of them. But the point I'm trying to make is, if you were to listen, then you get the point, okay? They were saying how the UK is missing out of the new scramble of Africa.
yeah, yeah,
Does that make sense
yeah.
to you?
All the
It
The
volume
does.
UK, the
they're trying to
headlines. Oh no,
recolonize
just wait,
Africa.
let me finish. Stop interrupting me. They are saying the UK is missing out of the new scramble of Africa. What does that tell you?
Maybe.
Recolonization.
Are they benefiting from
Thank
the
you.
new?
And they're missing out. They are missing out of the new scramble of Africa. It's a headline.
I mean, I,
Do they benefit from it?
And
No,
We don't
right?
want them there at
they
all.
they already benefited, but they want to benefit more. They want more. And guess what? They cited Somaliland. Why didn't we,
It's
follow
recolonization.
Israel? Exactly. And we are sitting here and actually, you know what? Sometimes I just don't understand black
in
people,
a
man.
way, I mean, people do say Sonko is boisterous and he's this and he talks too much. In a way, I
Forget
agree
about
with it.
Sonko. Like me, listen, I don't give a shit about. Sorry about that. I'm
I'm
not really
just saying,
bothered about
just
Sonko
saying,
or this, that,
the
or
topic
all
was
this
about
populist
Senegal. That's why I'm
mindset. Because
referring
all
back
this,
to.
yeah, I know, but all this is not getting us anywhere. All this loud on the internet and all this stuff without really, being pragmatic about the real stuff. That's good. Sometimes it actually distract people and actually make us not even get nowhere. We make too much noise, and even our enemies can hear us so loud. They can strategize, and by the time you know it, they already wiped us out of the way.
But Africa, I'm
You
not
know.
taking Sawo or either Songo or Jamal Faye. But
No, I'm not neither.
their
I'm not
political
bothered.
slogan was, we're going to get rid of France, we're going to do our own things. And this is what Songo is sticking to. So I don't know who is right or who is
But
wrong.
I don't listen.
Shiri Kuku
I don't.
Jumuku, right?
Yeah,
Kuku
yeah, yeah.
Jumuku.
I don't know. Right.
I'm
I
about
don't
to
know
leave
what
now.
the ins and outs.
I'll let Man High Castle come in. Okay.
So if
Oh
you
I'm
if
God,
about
you
to
if
leave.
you if you allow to the
Okay.
it's not.
Thanks,
It's
Elvis.
Senegalese
not in
that
there. It's
we're
not.
going to come and
Take
get
care.
rid of France, we're going to move
Yeah.
BCAO, we're going to do all of these, and
Yeah.
there are certain. First of all, there are certain towns in Senegal. You'll find that almost 80% of French, they go there, they retire, they live there, they spend
Oh yeah.
money. So
Yeah.
the way you guys think that Senegal can cut down on all of these things, comparing it with or whether
Nobody
Burkina
said that.
Faso or not,
No, I don't disagree with
Senegal
Didi.
is
I
not
don't.
that type of revolutionary country. That's what people have to understand. They
No,
are
How
I
long
see
has
fresh.
Senegal.
They,
he
they
got
Didi, Senegal.
even their first
on
president, well, he changed his name to be Sonko. He's not his French name, Sonko. He gave his own French name, and he even said
Senegal.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
Freddie
Yeah.
Africans should remain honor the leadership, honor French people.
hold
We
on.
are not ready for
Yeah, one
independence.
second.
So,
CD, 1 second, right? Yeah, you're
yeah.
right. You're right. So a country like Senegal
Can I also
and
respond
Sierra
to something?
Leone, yeah, 1 second. A country like Senegal, Sierra Leone, and Liberia, they are very entwined with the West. There is a
Yeah.
structure. There is a structure in those countries, where the relationship they had with the West is quite ancient, and there's certain things about them that is and the population that would make it harder for them to go away from the West. Okay, I totally agree with that. It's like Sierra Leone, we're highly Pan African in a lot of way, and Liberia, but the population, if you talk about Pan Africanism, they how they see it and how the rest of the African population see Pan Africanism. For example, even Guinea next door is totally different. Their
Completely
mindset is totally
different.
different. Yeah,
Completely
completely
But
different.
different.
So,
It's
what I
not
was
even
going to
so
you can't
how
even
long
compare
are
it.
we how
yeah,
long are
Guys,
that
we
is true.
we
supposed
gotta
to
let V go, and then we
uh
got man the
keep
hot cats on the panel too.
But but
oh
but
somebody just
but
came in.
yeah, but there should be a point. There should be a point where our governments will have to look at different options also while they actually work.
I
Not to
mean,
stay away from the
I just
West, but
wanted to
like
quickly respond to this and then you can pass
broaden their
on
wings.
to the
Okay,
other
And
people.
yeah,
Senegal, do you
you
know
can speak.
Senegal is the most expensive
Guys,
country in West
let V go.
Africa?
She wants to get her input.
Yeah,
Let her get her input.
because I keep
Yeah,
saying
yeah, yeah.
you CD, I was going to respond to CD saying that you go to certain places and you find French retirees. Are we supposed to swap French retirees for proper industrialization where we give our people a better, meaningful job? I'm sorry to say, most of these old women and men as well, in a certain instance, come to West African coast. No, they just come there they come there to exploit and exploit in so many ways, exploiting young men and these old women and then young girls. And,
Oh no, that's Gambia. You know about the
Yeah,
bomb?
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah,
Gambia.
yeah.
That's
But
different. That's different.
I've been to Dakar. Let me tell you this. I went to the nightclub in Dakar. Almost 90% of the women there were all chasing white men. And some of the European men that were in the
I
nightclub
don't
were
want to go there, please.
they were
Stop
walking
it, please.
barefooted.
CD, let me finish my point before you go into your
Senegal is a Western
the
country. It's
women
a
are killing.
pro-West.
CD,
Yeah.
please, CD, let me finish my
Yeah,
point. Last
yeah.
time you went to Kenya and the women are chasing. You went
Need
to
to stop.
maybe a small province in Kenya and you saw the women are doing that, but obviously you would generalize it and say all the women were doing that.
No.
Okay?
I'm
Let me
not
finish.
generalizing it. This is what I saw. This is what I saw.
Not,
And you have to understand again,
I
Senegal
am
is
not
the most
disputing.
expensive city in West Africa right now.
That's
Most
how
But
it
I
is.
don't
expensive.
know.
Senegalese
I don't know.
companies,
I think that
Senegalese companies
I think the
who are
country, I mean,
natively
is also
Senegalese
very
owned.
expensive.
V was speaking. Let's not speak over her,
Yeah,
please.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Oh yeah, yeah.
listen. Yeah, I said I think the country I'm in right now is also, Ghana is very expensive. I don't know. I've not been to
Yeah,
Senegal, so I cannot say. But what I'm saying is,
yeah.
it is not right for us to be thinking that we're having a few diaspora retirees or diasporans coming there to live here and there, buy their retirement home and live here. We should swap that for proper industrialization of our nations, whereby we will create meaningful, decent jobs for men and women, for them to live and sustain themselves and their families or whatever, to stop our people being exploited or young girls going around nightclub chasing old men, old white men or old black men.
No,
This is
that's
very
true.
simple.
You're definitely right.
That
You're definitely
and
right.
CD,
But again, and
that's a
one thing
tourist
about
area of
Dakar again,
Senegal.
one thing about Dakar
Uh-huh.
is the only peaceful part of Senegal is Dakar. The other rest part of the country is so hard. So everybody want to live in Dakar because they're where they have a sea, right? So the rest part of the country, that's why Dakar is the most expensive city. It's very, very congested. It's very, very expensive to live there because the rest part of the country is very hot. And everybody will come to Dakar City to survive, right?
You're right.
So it's not like, okay, Africa, yeah, the three most expensive countries, I would say Africa, Senegal, and Liberia, because Liberia, mainly right now, they
No,
want to use US dollar.
Ghana is more expensive, man.
No,
Ghana is
these
It's
three
very
expensive.
countries, they are
expensive.
very, very expensive. These three countries, very,
Guys,
very
let's let
costly.
man the hot cats come in. He's been waiting patiently, please.
Oh,
Okay.
you told me not to be the moderator, Ale. You're such an idiot.
Let's let him come in, man.
All right,
You're an
yeah, y'all
idiot.
give me the flow. Let me talk.
Yeah. Oh God, not this, not men in the high castle. Like, oh, you're gonna
Man, the
regret
outcast, are you there? You're
it.
muted,
He's not
bro.
ready, man. He's not ready.
I'm
He's
here.
he's building a split. What the one thing about Senegalese companies though, they actually help a lot of West Africa. Like in Sierra Leone, our roads have been built by Senegalese company, and they're really decent roads. They've been going for a long time, and it's Senegalese owned. So
He's ready.
the
He's ready.
private
He's ready,
sector is
guys.
really
He's
good.
ready.
So the private sector is really good in Senegal. That's
Rise
different.
and proud
They've got really good
Americans.
things. Oh, proud Americans, God, please don't bring that FBA conversation, man. Well, let's talk about Senegal. What do you know
I'm
about
not in
jollof?
America,
What do
so
you know about
I'm not in
jollof rice?
America.
Let's talk about,
Well,
if
what
you're
I
gonna
can
bring
tell you is
FBA,
that
talk about jollof rice.
I could tell you about Senegal is this is that if Senegal was the capital of West Africa, right? If it was,
One off.
what other African country would you want to be a part of West Africa if you could?
Is that a
One of
That's
my
not
question
in
favorite
West
countries.
Africa.
or a statement that you're gonna say? Would you know about Senegal? You lost me
Yeah.
there.
Oh,
Come on, man.
Senegal, they
Is
have
there,
that.
is there
Let's
anything
speak
you
on the
can say
reality,
or do
not bringing
exactly that can
hypotheticals.
that can could you say anything that can contribute to this conversation? Sir, from
Yes,
New York
sir.
City?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how do you feel
Senegal.
about the situation in Senegal now? Currently, do you even know what's going on in Senegal now? Who's the president of Senegal? What's his name?
I believe that Senegal has the nice pink river, pink lake. It's very
Okay,
beautiful.
Oh, God.
again, the question I'm asking you
However,
one more time is: who is the president of Senegal? What is his name? I know you know who the president of the United States is, Donald Trump, but who's the president of Senegal
yes,
right now, 2026? What's his name?
his name is something France.
Negative.
Oh, God. Okay.
All right, sorry. I don't
Anyway,
think you
It's not. It's not. It's not a trivia show. Let him have his take. Let's be ecumenical to everybody. Let him
anyway,
have his
just
take.
shut up, man.
Yes, his name is
Let him have his.
I'm tired of listening to your little voice.
Assieds-toi,
Quiet.
assieds-toi dans les
Wait,
chaises.
I don't know why you want to fight with me, Africa. I'm not fighting with you, man.
No, but it's just annoying. Why are you gonna entertain this guy? He's gonna ruin the whole
Yeah,
conversation, bro. Come
exactly.
on.
He's messing up the algorithm. That's what I wanted to prove. He doesn't know anything
He's gonna ruin
about
the
what we're
conversation.
talking about, and he cannot contribute to the conversation. So
He
there
can't.
must be some form of
He's
decorum.
number one is high.
in
I love
the
Men in the
room.
High Castle. I actually love him dearly. You know, he's my bro. You know, me and him, we can click sometime. But when it comes to certain conversation, he just come and trust it. Trust me, he will. I'm surprised he didn't know that, Elvis.
Okay, let's do it one more time. Okay, New York guy, right? Whoever you are, respectfully. Just recently, the president of Senegal, which is his name is Diomaye Faye, just recently terminated his prime minister, Ousmane Sonko. What are your opinions on that? How do you feel about that? If you would like to respond.
That wasn't a good idea.
Why not?
Why not, sir?
The people didn't vote for it, correct?
Well,
What?
the people voted for the president.
No, the people voted for it. He has a constitutional authority to release the prime minister of his duties.
Just like how the President Trump continuously fires everybody who is not in the line with what Trump loyalty is. You know what I mean? A lot of Republicans, a lot of individuals that used to work for the Department of Justice are no longer employed. Christy Nome, who was a big supporter and actually was responsible for immigration in the United States, she was fired because of,
I got it.
other reasons.
Well,
so
this
yeah.
man Sonko, he needs to admit that he's a part of France and that he loves France so much.
Okay, it's true. You may not be well versed on the topic. It's not true. It's not.
You have access to AI. You have access to Google. You could have Googled the information. You could have do some cheating, whatever.
I know that Africa's in trouble.
But if this guy he want to go to the parliament and if the
I know
crisis
that
is going to get worse.
Africa does not want unity with Africa.
So I asked, what other countries outside of West Africa would you want to be part of West Africa if you could?
That's a
Um,
hypothetical. We're not going to
One
entertain
thing
that.
one thing I can tell you, Ben in the High Castle, Senegal as a country, like their private sector, like I would say in Sierra Leone, our roads right now in Sierra Leone, we have one of the best road networks in West Africa, and it's built by a Senegalese company, and it's privately owned, and they have they actually supply gas to other countries, neighboring countries, like cooking gas that will stop us, using charcoal or cutting down woods, like prevent all this deforestation, and because they don't use that neither in Senegal, they actually use gas, and that's what they're trying to help other West African country achieve. And also, the only country that's actually serious about, you might like this man in the High Castle, about the repair the desert to stop these sun crackers coming down, because they love the sun, innit? Senegal is the only country that's actually actively busy building the green wall, stopping the deserts coming downwards.
hey,
Actively.
I know
can I
for a
just say
fact
this?
that you said the
Yeah.
word sandcracker, but do you think sandcracker specifically is just one person?
All right, host,
Yeah.
I respect you a lot. I've been watching whatever your program for a minute now. I think we should
Do you
exercise
think there are
decorum.
people who practice
But
Hindu?
Bye. What was you saying? What was you saying, Bye?
No, I'm
Sorry.
saying like the stuff that he's talking about now is nonsense, right? I came on here
Yeah.
to have a dialogue conversation with individuals
He's,
from
Yeah.
different
he's
parts
right.
of the world.
He's absolutely right.
Yeah.
We have
That
to,
that is
be
realistic,
serious about.
and he's
Yeah.
not
Men in the
serious.
High
So let me
Castle is
go
quite
ahead.
serious. Yeah. If you can
But
engage the conversation, leave it, my brother.
I'm going to continue speaking on something that I just
Okay.
realized, right?
Okay. Thank you.
Senegal has been the eyes and ears of the French all the way
Okay.
starting from the colonialism, right? Senegal
Okay.
was actually favored compared to all the other West African former French colonial countries. So
Right.
I think that we need to build relationships better with.
Oh, somebody's talking.
I'm sorry. I think that we should. I think the deals need to be fair. That's what I believe needs to happen. I don't think Senegal should break away from the French as far as doing business and stuff like that. But I don't
Okay.
support predatory lending. I don't support
Okay.
exploitation. But I think that,
Okay.
well,
I don't think Africa should simply align with just one or two countries. They should align with any country in Africa
That's what
should
they need.
align with countries that would serve their interests equally. If not, don't. I mean, France has not been fair to. I listen to French news a lot. I'm not very good speaking in French, but I do understand relatively okay. And if you listen to them and some of the things they're saying, Africa is simply their cash cow, and losing the Sahel has cost them a lot. They are terribly worried about losing the coastal countries, particularly Senegal's one, Ivoria, and then Benin. They are not just even eyeing just this. I hate this word, but for lack of better word, I'm going to use it: francophones and Frenchophones, or whatever they call it, francophones and anglophones. Yeah.
Mm.
But they have said that they cannot afford to lose the coastal countries. And now they're not only holding on to the French, the ones that they have, the Ivorians and the Senegals and all that, they also want to go into English colonized countries. France depends on Africa.
Yeah, but
And
I
they
mean,
cannot afford.
when you guys say that Senegal is working with China, all the infrastructure in Dakar is being constructed by the Chinese. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
but
French people, they will give you an
money.
option
No, it's a
whether you want
money.
to accept us doing your project, because Africans did the same thing, right? The South Koreans were building the subway system in Abidjan. right?
It's
And the
it's
French
the
people say
currency.
we want
It's
to
the
take over the project. They end up giving
it's,
it to the French. And most of the
it's,
infrastructure development in Africa, again, is being done by the
it's
Chinese. So they work with all these other, the
it's the
Asian
currency.
countries.
It's
But
no, it's the currency. Maybe now they've relaxed about when it comes to in contracts or maybe infrastructure and stuff like that. Before they were very strict. One of the reasons why they removed Bagbo was to do with him moving away from dealing with some French company that want to build a bridge. It was part of the reason. But what I'm saying primarily is the currency. They're making that currency has been helping them a lot, and they don't want it to let it go. That is why Al Hassan Ouattara stopped the ECO when the whole West Africa was really aiming and pushing to get the ECO, which we need. If we managed to have done that, West Africa would have been one of the richest regions in the world.
yeah,
That
but
back.
it's difficult for them to get away with CFA because when you look at CFA, Africa got 60% of their CFA. The other 40% is including Senegal and the rest of West African countries that have CFA. So they are in control of Africa, which of course going to be very difficult for them to give up. So that's why they don't even fight for all these other small countries.
No, they are
The
fighting for them.
Africa
They're
is
in their name.
always in their pocket. So
No, they are
um,
fighting for them. That's what they were saying on their channel, and this was some of their aspects. They were saying that France should not lose the coastal countries. That's what I heard from the French themselves saying it, that they cannot
Why did they
afford to
say?
lose.
Did they said that? Yeah.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I heard it. I was listening to one of their program, and I heard it. Yeah,
You
they
see,
said
you
that they
see, you
cannot
see,
afford
you
to
see,
lose.
you see,
You know.
you see what I was saying. You see what I was saying about my analysis quite a while ago now about the coastal West Africa and the inland.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get this analysis from the Europeans. This is something written from a guy, who is a local guy from Sierra Leone. He done this in-depth study. He done it in Mandinka and Fula language, and then he wrote it down. He used ways to translate it.
yeah, but
Yeah, and
Africa,
I gave it because
it
see, we know how these people move. We know what
yeah,
these people do.
I
What they do.
understand, but
Yeah,
this
yeah,
Africa, I can attest to that when he was signing the contract with the South Korean. The French said,
mm,
well, this country is our symbol. We want to build a subway system. Africa said, well, you got to go below the cost of South Korea, or you have this similar cost, then we'll give you the contract, right? They gave them the option. Then the French people took over the contract.
yeah,
But a lot of
yeah, yeah,
infrastructure development that is going on in Africa is built by the Chinese, sometimes the Japanese. Even some of the bridges in our region is built by the Japanese. So when you
yeah,
guys sound like France will go and say, "Oh yeah, you guys have to give us this contract," no, it doesn't work like that. Sometimes they have deal with those private sectors. France has nothing to do with it. They will give you an options, but European
yeah,
putting on infrastructure in Africa is expensive, but at the same time, it's better
yeah,
quality than the Asian country. You
Not
know,
necessarily
yeah.
true. That is necessarily
that's the
true.
fact.
No, that's not necessarily true. I mean, we have
You
bridges that
see,
have been built by Japan
look, when it
and
comes
other
to,
countries, and they've stood the test of time. So I would not say it's necessarily true.
one thing about Senegalese people, like most of their stuff, like my family will attest to that. They're very good at doing stuff themselves anyway, unless if it's like some kind of way advanced technologies. I believe Senegalese can do it because a lot of projects in West Africa that's been done by Senegalese company and Senegalese people. And they actually come in, they get the contract, they come and do it better than some of the Europeans.
Mm.
So I don't understand, why people think, I think, to be honest, people, you're right, V, you make a lot of sense. And also I agree with CD. I'm in the middle on this because the reality is, you have to choose your partners wisely. And we know the devil that sometimes is better than the devil you don't. But at the same time, we know the French, how they work, how they operate. They've never been really 100% good for us because otherwise we would not be in the situation where we find ourselves in. But then a brother from the Senegal just came in and made it clear. There's no way I can argue because he's from this land, that's his country, and he knows better than I do. and that's the path that they choose. And who am I to tell them otherwise? That's the thing. That's the reality. That's why I'm in the middle when it comes to this. And coastal West Africa, I said this before, they're very close to the West. They always have been. For some reason, they have some, even including Ghana. You know that. I mean, come on, we know the stuff that's going on in Ghana.
I don't want to
All
discuss.
their
I mean, Ghana.
ex-president, all their ex-president live in France. Abdul
Yeah,
Diouf,
and I mean,
what they all
no,
live in
and
France.
I mean, we know that
They live
even
in
right
Ghana. They're
now,
not
even
property
right
there,
now
but they
as we
live in
speak,
Ghana. They're all in Ghana now.
even right now,
Our ex-presidents are
right
in
now as we
Ghana. They
speak,
don't have the
V,
property
yeah,
there. Maybe they do,
yeah,
yeah,
but
but they
V, as we speak, the United States are trying to, you know, they have a lot of the FBI. They're trying to have a lot of input in Ghana at the moment as we
they
speak.
have.
I saw the report.
I heard some time ago that they even have some office in Ghana. Listen, I don't want to
Yeah.
discuss. I'm disappointed as anybody else.
So
I'm fed.
this is
Right?
and
That's
they're allowing that. So I don't know.
all
And
these government.
I never had that. I don't think they will allow that in Senegal. It's to some extent, but
What was
sadly,
that?
I don't think the Senegalese will allow that extreme, incursion in their land, or actually allow them to have a base, in that like the Americans and stuff like that. But I might be wrong. But for some reason, if the coastal of West Africa, they actually been heavily infiltrated by the West, and that's how it is.
We got a new person on the panel.
Africa. When Senegal
Yeah,
was contributing through to ECOMOG, right?
yeah.
Senegal and Ghana. These two countries were the country that America gave them the uniform, the clothing, the weapon, everything 100% came from the West. Everything.
Mhm.
So people could even tell by the uniform that they're wearing. So they went there
Yeah, I
because
mean,
America gave them all these equipment. So
yeah,
Senegal
yeah.
is just a pro-Western country.
West, just like listen, Sierra
No,
Leone.
you can't compare with Burkina Faso. You
Yeah,
can't compare with Mali.
Sierra Leone is a
No.
die-hard West. See, Sierra Leone is a West country. Sierra Leone, the West
Yeah.
actually almost own it. It's theirs. Like for example, Sierra Leone would never dare go away from the West because the land itself, Freetown, was actually founded by them, and the people are actually the whole mechanism, everything, the people mindset, everything is hard to come out of it, which is a shame. That's how it is, but it's just like they're so entrenched in the system. It's actually more than what you call, they have more influence in Sierra Leone in the people's mindset, for example, than they have in all the other West African, probably all the other African countries. That's just a fact, and I'm not gonna come here and deny that. But I think, you know, if we had a choice to go back, and have our total sovereignty and start from ground zero and build ourselves up slowly, like what the other people did, I would choose that way because I know that's the way forward. Like as I said earlier, like me reading a British newspaper saying to the British government, you are missing out on the new scramble of Africa by not allowing Somaliland to exist as a Somaliland. It kind of make my blood boil, bro. Because it's obvious. It's obvious. They have entered the new scramble of Africa, and the AES have saw that coming, and they're resisting it. And that's what I'm saying. Like if you look at the map, the inner land will eventually, the innerland culture will go to the coast eventually.
Yeah, but if
But
you look at it,
they're trying so hard. They're trying
what
so hard that doesn't happen. But you're only gonna take few coastal countries to build an alliance with them, in the inner land for that to happen. Trust me.
but most
Apart from
of
my
civilizations in West Africa came from the inner land anyway, came from the Sahel places, most of the
yeah,
strongest
hell,
civilizations. So
yeah,
they
yeah,
seem to have a much more stronger kind of sense of being and
self,
building
sense of
a
self, yeah.
nation than I think we do. We
Hmm.
are very, very when it comes to the coastal regions, I would say we are in, our mind is in two places. It's either we are here or we are there. We want to continue with our
Yeah.
traditions. We
Thank
want to
you.
be.
The truth always lasts. It's always nice to stick to the truth. Whether that's why. Yeah, that simple as that. Let's pass him on. I think Mansik is here. But you know what, V, and CD. That's how we get the truth out. We just got to be honest to ourselves, and kudos to both of you guys.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah,
mostly every.
Mansik.
I mean, peace and
Yeah,
love, everybody. Hope everyone's doing
yeah, yeah,
well. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I agree with everyone. What everyone was just saying. Pretty much like you said, like it's whatever what the Senegalese people want. You know, God know that French has a stronghold there in Senegal. I just wish that they have like multiple partners. So they don't like to just depend on one. You know,
yeah,
but it's whatever they want, man. And I mean, I guess we're gonna see what's gonna happen because I know what they was just saying that they don't know the relationship between the AES and Senegal. Well, what I can say from the outside, from what happened
yeah,
before, they're not
yeah,
they're not gonna sever ties with Mali only because it's a lot of money on the table. Because regardless of difference of opinions, no one's not gonna play with money. And the prime example is you saw what Benin and Ivory Coast did to Burkina Faso and Mali. They were playing games and putting sanctions on them, prevent from getting imports. So Burkina Faso or Mali was like, okay, excuse me, if you want to play this game, we're just going to reroute our corridors. And you see exactly what happened. They stopped getting imports from Benin and Ivory Coast, and they went to Togo, and then now they about to have the Atlantic Initiative with Morocco pretty soon, and they also got Guinea, and then they also got Ghana or the Port of Tima, you know. So that's why Senegal has to be careful, whatever the establishment is and stuff too. But I don't think they're gonna play that game because they have that agreement with that the new port that they just created. You worry about that Africa with Mali
No,
and
I
Senegal?
no, I don't. But I know their biggest trading partner is Mali. Senegal
Yeah,
biggest trading
yeah,
partner is Mali. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
they're
They're not
very
gonna mess that up. Man.
intertwined.
There's a lot of money in there because you see what happened with
Mm.
Benin and Niger. Benin lost like about I think 80 and 90% of his revenue because of the closed port.
Ah,
Yeah, that's a
mm.
lot of that's millions of dollars, man.
Yeah, that's a lot of money,
So
man.
yeah, so regardless of differences, and I don't think that's going to change and stuff too. I mean,
Mm.
we see from there. So that's my input on it.
Yeah, I know. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, like Guinea and Senegal will always help Mali. That regardless who rule those countries, they will always help them. They will always work together. That's just it's a tradition, isn't it? It will never change. I don't know about Ivory Coast so much, but I guarantee you, Guinea, especially,
At some
and
point,
Senegal would always help Mali.
Yeah, it's not going to change because because we say
Nah,
in the Monday line, we
But
say
the,
in the
the
Monday,
culture, the culture
yeah,
is
we say
like
same
we
people.
say
Yeah, same people.
yeah,
Yeah,
we say in the Monday language we say unsung kennedy like we're the same
yeah,
and stuff too. So
yeah.
so it's not going to change.
Never gonna
It's
change.
literally it's
That's
literally like Malians is in Guinea and Guineans is in Mali. They like brothers and sisters. So it ain't going to change.
and Senegalese and
Yeah,
Senegalese
yeah,
people.
and
They're
Senegalese
heavily
too.
in Guinea and the
Hmm.
other way around. A lot of Guineans in Senegal and Mali. And if you look at it, the biggest trading partner for Senegal is Mali. Even Mali Macky Sall, who was a French puppet, yeah, he actually was contributing. It's one of the few countries who was actually contributing troops to Mali,
Right,
throughout their problems. So he was helping them out.
right.
He himself said it. He said the problem Senegal had was a logistic issue because
Hmm.
from one place to another, when they're traveling, the army and trying to get their equipment to one place to another is so long. Because Mali, is a vast country, bro.
Yeah.
They was breaking down because Senegal got troops in Mali. Guinea helped Mali. These two countries would never stop. It's not only the people in those countries would not allow the breakdown of the relationship, but the government themselves know it's in their interest. The Senegalese government know it's in their interest to support Mali. Guinea government know it's in their interest to support Mali
Hmm.
because these people are even in Sierra Leone to an extent. We're very close to people of Mali. We are descendants of the great Mali Empire. We open to be around this coastal region because Mali Empire fell. We came to the coast, and that's not
Right.
going to change. As you said, the blood is thicker than water,
Right.
regardless of the tribe. It's just the reality.
Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
true. That's why. That's why I think that to prevent any like political issues, that's why Mali signed an agreement with Senegal.
Mm.
That I know is that they're gonna create like a new port, which pretty much because it's connected with Senegal and Mali, which regardless who's in office there in
In
Senegal, they
power,
can't initially
yeah,
like block it, so it just comes straight to Mali.
Um, Ghana
yeah.
have a similar situation with the Burkina, where there is a port that dedicated and was built and dedicated
Mm.
for Burkina, and most of their, I'll say about
Mm.
predominantly their goods go through there. The only
Yeah.
people that you
Yeah.
can find there is the Ghana customs. Even the civil servants and the people that work there, they are from Burkina. It's only
Oh,
the Ghana.
okay, interesting. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah, so it's dedicated to them. So I don't know if it's similar thing though, which would be good because they need that kind of access.
Right.
They need
Mm.
that kind of access. And regardless of whether you agree with their politics or not, as you said, we're all brotherly countries. If you look in the ancestry of most of us, it's either this group were there and they moved to here, and due to the
Mm.
separation and isolation, the language changed a bit, and so forth and so on. So.
Mm-hmm.
mm, I
Yeah.
mean, I would very much like it if West Africa could move much closer and develop one currency. I'll be because what it would do for that region, and I'll hope to see it in my lifetime. But the way things are now, I don't know. Maybe generations to come might actualize it. But we need to get when
Yeah.
people talk about one African currency, that won't work. We need regional currencies, and West Africa is long overdue. That's safer. It's so it makes sometimes some of their goods more expensive than the
Right.
goods coming all the way from Asia.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and
Yeah.
it's not helping them, but the people are so comfortable with it. They defend it, and it give them some sort of stability. But the country that actually even gave you this money, where is their stability now? They're not
Right.
even using it. They're using the euro. And where is their stability as a nation? So why don't we move forward and think differently and do things differently? We need to get one currency. If we can get one currency in West Africa back with our resources, I'm telling you.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree, and that's why you
I
see in
mean,
the fight now.
in yeah.
I was going to say that's why you see in the fight now, especially with the president from Ivory Coast. They're trying to push the echo, but the problem is that because he's spearheading the thing, he wants to echo the peg with the euro, which makes no sense because it's literally just a CFA franc with a different name, you
Yeah,
know,
then it's
and
more
and
expensive.
right,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
and that's why Nigeria doesn't want to back it. Nigeria's like,
What
no, we're gonna lose a lot, you know. And then now the president from Ivory Coast, he's trying to talk to Mahama, trying to back it, but I don't think Mahama's gonna do that because it's just
no,
foolish.
this one made the collapse in the first round when they had an agreement, when they went to Abuja and agreed. You know what Al Hassan Ouattara did? He when he got on his plane, he didn't even go to Ivoria. He went straight to Paris
Mm,
after they
Mm.
finished summit. Yeah, in Abuja, and that's
Yes.
what put Buhari off. And Buhari told then it was a Akufo-Addo. He told him that he's not having it. He's not gonna have it.
Mm.
right,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know how Buhari is like. He's a man that he don't talk, he don't say a
right.
lot, is it? He is very pragmatic. He knows
But
what he's doing.
the one thing I gotta say is I'm happy that Nigeria didn't fall for that,
Mm. No, he
because it's
wouldn't. He
like
wouldn't do it. He's the sort of
because
guy
I'm
he wouldn't
telling
do
you,
it.
I'm telling you right now, regardless if the Echo comes out now or
Mm.
after the AES currency, because it's a fiat paper and it's backed by euro. So if anything happens to the economy in euro, it's going to affect West Africa, which logically just doesn't make no sense. At least
Euro
with
is
the
gonna
AES
crumble.
currency,
From
if
our
when that comes
resources.
out, huh?
Yeah.
I was saying that apart from our resources, where they are getting it very cheap anyway, everything
Right,
else will be very expensive if they peg it by the euro.
right.
Everything, considering that we are a region where we import quite a lot of goods, everything will be very expensive if they
Right.
peg it.
Do you know what I noticed recently is happening in within the ECOWAS, British ECOWAS? I think the English ECOWAS countries are are trying to do their own little things between themselves without having to really worry too much about the
What,
francophone, because they realize the francophone
no, what
are having more
you
trouble. If
no.
Yeah, so what I see recently, because in Sierra Leone, I saw in the Sierra Leone media, the two head of the immigration, they basically, because at the moment Sierra Leone had ECOWAS, right? The head of the ECOWAS immigration, anyone that had ECOWAS, the immigration officer or minister or officer, will be the head of all the ECOWAS countries' immigration officers. So he invited the Liberian one into the Sierra Leone, and they was having a, and they was talking about their policies and what they're working on at the moment. So they're trying to work on the cross-border policies between Liberia, Sierra Leone, between the Mano River Union, and also they will extend that eventually to Ghana. Okay, that's what they're working on. So what they're trying to do, because in between Sierra Leone, Liberia, and the borders is a lot of rivers, and people cross those rivers to sell goods and come back every day. And between the borders, there are family members that live alongside the borders, and so they can actually, work together. And every day they have to have what they call this traveling emergency travel certificate. But now what they're trying to do, they're trying to create an ID that will enable, for example, a Sierra Leonean to cross to Liberia and to Ivory Coast, because it's all the Mano River Union, and to Ghana and come back. But the only thing that made my heart beat, I don't want to be, I don't want to, I don't want to sound a bit derogatory towards Nigerians, but when they said eventually it will be extended to Nigeria, I'm like, oh, maybe not.
Don't do this. He's gonna
if it's just if it's just between us, the Mano River Union, and to the extent to Ghana, I understand that. But to extend that to Nigeria, that will actually encourage mass immigration towards the far west, and we can't accommodate that. That's the problem. And it basically is, and also they're trying to digitalize it, so they know which citizens belong to which part of the other side of the fence, so they can trace them and stuff like that, which is good for security, because at the moment, this is what they call the QNet, because we have few victims who've been, scammed, like some of our girls, um, yeah, some of our girls been used, been manipulated on this QNet by a few Nigerians, and they promise them they're gonna take them to Europe, get them good jobs, and then they end up in Nigeria or some weird place, and they've been used for human trafficking and stuff like that. So it's to
Can I,
counter some of those issues as well. Yeah,
Africa? Can I respond to two messages inside the chat? This too.
yeah, yeah,
Is that
yeah,
okay? For
yeah. Of
Mr.
course.
Royal Honor, the Mr. FBA dude that always comes here causing disruption. The
That
AES
one.
does the AES does refine their own resources. So why you think they're having the AES currency? So like I said, I don't know what you're on. And the guy for Warrior Clan, they're not gonna bag the Echo with no tangibles or no physical resources. You got to ask yourself who's the spearhead of that, But that's all I got to say to those two comments. But go
Yeah,
ahead,
I
what you saying
mean,
after?
yeah. So it's just a little initiative between the Mano River Union. Really, that's what it is. It's nothing to do with ECOWAS, because I saw someone trying to throw me down there, but that's fine. I'm used to it. So yeah, so it's to do with the Mano River Union, because Mano River Union are very close people. It's between Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast, and Liberia, and to the extent Guinea. So
Right.
we can travel alongside. And to the extent Ghana, they want to use Ghana, but the ECOWAS ID card that they will want to use, they want to introduce in the future, that will be the one that include ECOWAS and Nigeria, and that's where
Mm.
my blood was like, my belly was like, I'm not sure about that, because we want to
current
have,
there's
yeah,
a current ID card going on, and it's very in Ghana, and it's very effective, and it can easily trace people that
hmm
card. Not you're not on the system. If you're on the system, and now Ghana has linked it into everything, to banking, to health. I don't think
yeah, that's
education
exactly what they're trying to do. Yeah.
higher. fresher education, but they have not done it to the basic one. So if
Okay.
you even now they insisting that even if a landlord is going to rent a house, or you need to take the person's ID, and they have it. It's an ECOWAS thing, but it's mainly for the Ghanaian citizens or people who are resident in Ghana, and it's very
Right.
effective. It's helping. It's helping to deal with crime. It's also
Mm.
making it easy. People can use it to access loans easily because they have a
Mm.
database and everything's on it, so they can trace you. You know, a lot of people don't like it, but to me, the one thing I like it is it's helping to deal with crime. Yes, because
And also
you
foreigners coming in your countries without knowing, trying to take your kids, smuggling them for for all kind of things. And by the
yeah,
time you know it, somewhere in
yeah,
Lagos, you know,
yeah,
yeah,
kidnap children or people, and it's helping. So if they will
yeah,
have similar kind of card system and use
mm,
through the what is it, COAS region, it's only they reduced to how many now? Because it used to be 14 and now 4 is also they reduced to 10 or 8 or something like that. I don't even know.
yeah,
Oh, you said
yeah.
ECOWAS is at 8 now?
About 10
Dennis,
or 8.
Dennis, if you're there and Bai is at the back, you want to come on. So if you're there, let him in, please. But yeah, it is going to be. It's going to. That's good. That's where everything is going to head to. Let's be honest. Yeah,
We need to find a way of drawing ourselves closer and doing more business between ourselves. You
I agree.
know, because we're lagging behind in a lot of ways. And we need to create
yeah.
employment for people. I mean, the people of Senegal, why they're angry now about is they're angry, even with Sonko and the president himself, they're angry with, is that the youth invested so much in them that they're going to come in, make things better, at least on the employment front. Okay, you've come in and there's a mess. What do you people do? Instead of you to put your down to head downs to deal with it, it became, like a tug of war between these two. The president is complaining that the country is not all about one man, and then he too was going around doing his talking and all the rest of it. And the people felt that this is not what we actually voted for. We voted for people to come and help to deal with our current situation. It's
Mm,
eh, but to me, the previous people were not a better alternative anyway. So people have so much invested in this new movement that was full of young people, and I don't buy
mm,
this idea that people are not experience. You got to do something to get the experience. You don't just born into experience. But then when you have people that the so-called experience, they have caused so much mess. What is it? At least try something new, isn't it? If they
Right.
have
mm.
they've caused so much mess. Why were you hiding your current your government's I mean the country's account to the point that so much money was missing, 7 billion or whatever billion. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of dead money.
To be
You
honest
know.
with you, like me, with this initiative, the Mano River Union is trying to launch. I strongly agree with it because we want to make sure we minimize the amount of outsiders that are coming into our territory, and if people are coming from other countries that we know they're rife with crime, money laundering, and you know, sex trafficking, people like that. We need to put a stop to it because we can't allow people like that in our communities. We don't have that sort of culture or kidnapping and stuff like that. We don't want it, and I noticed, for example, there's a guy called Very Dark Man in Nigeria who
Oh yeah, I
rescued.
know him. Yeah.
Yeah, he rescued one of our Sierra Leone sister who was a victim of some Nigerians, some dusty, not all Nigerians, but that was a dusty Nigerian who came to our country, who were lying to people. It's what they call this QNet, lie to the girl that he got some deal, he can help her to fly to America or somewhere like that from Nigeria. And luckily, she managed to find VDM because she used to follow him. And then he went, I thank him, he's a good guy. So he managed to rescue the sister and send her back to Sierra Leone. But these are the sort of people, because people think that could create animosity towards other nationalities. Because if
Mm-hmm.
anything was to go wrong with that girl and she would have lost her life, God knows what would have happened, right? We don't want that. We in far West Africa.
What?
I see someone in the comment section saying, small countries in West Africa. Well, I tell you what, those small countries in West Africa are more sophisticated than big Nigeria because they
Mm.
managed to develop something that Nigeria haven't developed yet.
It seems to have it together more than a big country that is not.
Yeah, we do. Like Sierra Leone, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Sierra Leone, Liberia. It's only because of the war. But if it wasn't for that, we like Sierra Leone, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, Senegal. We always had it together. We managed to provide good services for our nationalities, for our people, to the extent even those countries in the Sahel. Mali used to be a decent country. Burkina Faso during the times of even when Blaise Compaoré was there, it was all right. It wasn't. You don't see Burkina people run into other people's country. I
Right.
never met hardly any Burkina come to Sierra Leone to say I'm coming to seek help, or Mali people coming to Guinea to say I'm gonna come seek help. Or we always stayed in our country. We always do what what I mean. We have good services, good roads, 24 electricity, clean waters. But we don't want we not say we don't want other West Africans in our country. But we don't want other people coming to our country and doing kind of all kind of criminal activities. This is what happened in South Africa, and people start checking me out because we don't have the same culture. We don't have the culture of deceiving other people for money. We
Yeah.
have family values. You
I
know,
mean, with those countries in the Sahel, what the problem now is the insurgency going on that's causing them problem. They were not that
if
bad country. I
there
mean,
wasn't at all. Mm,
you know, they were quite pretty stable until all this insurgency and all this fighting and that kind of thing came over there.
mm,
Because I mean, we neighbors, and you have people that I have family that used to travel to Burkina regularly to do business, and Burkina Faso also come down south to do business. So we interact like that from Ivoria and other places. And it's the war is just a problem for them. And I hope, as they are being so determined now, eventually they will bring it to some sort of sensible situation. I don't think it's going to go away pretty soon, but they will get to a point where it will be reasonably calmer for them to, move on as a nation and think of developing more. Because it's a shame, it's a shame that they've spent all this 10 years. This is going on. It started from Mali, then it moved to Burkina, and some in between Niger and other places. And now look at it now where we are at. And nobody would tell me that these people managed to get all this equipment and men to rush into Mali, over 10,000, I believe, and the kind of equipment they were carrying. Some of them apparently were pretty sophisticated. Where did they
Mm-hmm.
get all this money for? I heard some
mm,
news. They kidnapped one man and there was a ransom of $25 million. Really? One man
mm,
alone, they kidnapped him and there was a ransom of 10. Sometimes when they tell these kind of stories, they think we are so dumb. I'm telling you, people really do think that we are dumb.
Mm-hmm.
They kidnapped one man and there was a kidnap of $25 million, and that's what helped these people restore themselves. Do you believe that? I
mm.
don't.
Yeah, it's reality. It's a reality, and simple as that, and the reason, listen, the reason why these countries are like that is because, as you mentioned it earlier, the West want to make sure, they teach them a lesson to try to be having their own sovereignty. They don't want, to have their own control of their own destiny, unlike the coastal West Africa, who, want to be under them. Even though they don't really truly, most African countries don't want to be under them. They have no choice. But the reality is, you know, um, man, the
Yeah,
reality is
that.
people have to realize that we need our freedom. We need to be free from them.
Yeah.
We need the proper
And
sovereignty.
they have to fight, and that's what you're seeing right now, the fight for sovereignty. So it's just like people. What's so crazy? Africa V is like
Yeah, yeah.
when this attack happened in Mali.
Mm,
I can't believe the amount of commentary that Mali got people were saying that that's what Mali gets for leaving ECOWAS, like
Yeah,
ridiculous,
they
like
deserve.
ridiculous stuff. Yeah, they're saying stupid things and stuff.
Coming
And then
from
this,
Africa.
they, and then they were
Coming
saying
from
stupid
Africa.
things. They were saying stupid things and saying that, see, if they never left ECOWAS, this would never happen. Like there's no issues like in Nigeria like that happened. You know, it's
The
just
most,
so
the most
stupid. But
populous country in ECOWAS
right,
have more bigger issues as well.
right.
So what is ECOWAS doing
Nigeria,
about it?
Nigeria is a big country for nothing. The only thing that's special about Nigeria is their population, and that
Hmm.
population is going to be liability to us in Far West Africa in the future if they do not develop their country. That's just a reality, and
Right.
It is a fact.
you cannot,
You're 100% right,
yeah,
and it's a fact.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
If they do not develop their country and develop their road network, lights, infrastructure, water, and they have to do things for their people and stop people. Are someone in the listen. You can go to the center of Senegal in Dakar. And you hear Nigerians calling, like my people, backwards and this and that, or calling Muslim. But you see them, the same people are criticizing us. You see their people right in the middle of Dakar setting up stools and trying to make money. If you tell them to go back to Nigeria, they'll be on their floor crying. You see them
Right.
in the middle of Gambia. I've been all over West Africa. I've seen them. They've been there, Nigerians in Ghana. There's all, of course, you have other Africans in Nigeria, no doubt. But if you look at the percentage by
Do you hear
population,
about them? Do you hear about the other
huh?
Africans in Nigeria causing trouble?
No,
Nah.
I've said, do you hear
don't
about
mind their
other
business.
Africans in Nigeria causing
Mm-mm.
trouble? They
No,
mind their
no,
business
because
Nah.
they
and they're
respect
doing
other
their
people.
business.
Yeah, exactly. They don't come to our countries and trying to pick up. They don't go there picking up their children and pretend like they're gonna send them to Europe and trying to pimp them out
Yeah.
to the point where they have to be rescued. You see, these are the sort of things we talk about. We don't have the same culture. We don't
Yeah.
have the same value.
It's the same in not Liberia and Libya too. From what I'm hearing too, some Nigerians then they involve with kidnapping their own man and send them to for Libya, man. I'm like, that's just damn terrible, man.
Seriously.
Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's freaking terrible, man.
Africa, that's why I said we need
Sad.
to have a stronger kind of
Borders.
inter-country cooperation as
Integration
well.
in
The
no
borders,
in the
Mm-hmm.
yeah no. But you see the Mana River Union. The Mana River Union is a must for us in the Far West, and the Mana River Union is not small. It's a big massland of rivers, and also it consists of one of the they have one of the highest mineral deposits in the region. And there's so many and human capital development in that area. There's so many aspects of the Mana River Union that can outsmart any of them. And I think the Mana River Union can actually work, with the AES much more better because they actually surrounded by the Mana River
Mm-hmm.
Union.
Hold on,
And I can
Africa.
see that happening. Sorry?
Elder Crafton, what do you mean about Simi Gorge's response? What do you mean? What was his response? Go ahead on
What?
Africa. Continue what you were saying.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, they could actually be the future of West Africa. I can see that happening because is not going to. ECOWAS is facing a big problem at the moment. Number one, ECOWAS have lost it, with the population. It's once the population have no trust in you, it's hard to repair that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hard to repair that. So that's why, for me, I think the Mano River Union will be the next move in West Africa, and that's going to be more closer to those in the AES than anything else.
Yeah.
The Mano River Union can maintain their alliance with the West, but they could work with other regions, and also the AES can actually
Yeah,
maintain their strong alliance with Russia, but work with
And
others.
nothing stops inter-country cooperation and also have a
Exactly.
bigger whatever
Yeah.
regional organization to be part of. I mean, ECOWAS
Yeah.
was the problem ECOWAS is facing on itself because they
Mm.
lost
Yeah.
their focus. What they were
Yeah.
originally intending, they move away from that.
Yeah.
They were having
Yeah.
civilian, so-called democratic government doing
Yeah.
their dubious things, changing rules to staying in government and pass their term of
Yeah.
their term when their term of office supposed to end, then they were still hanging on. They were doing all
Yeah.
manner of dubious stuff. They said nothing. And these people, for one reason or whether you agree with the coup or you don't, they felt it's necessary to take over their country, and then you come down on them like a ton of bricks. It was very hypocritical. I didn't understand it. They said, well, they had an election. How do you expect a country that many of their regions was like a no-go area? At that time, they were talking about Mali has had a coup and they were throwing them out because they had a military coup. Places up in the north, like that, was a no-go area for the Malian government. So how were they supposed to organize
this is to do with that guy. This is all to do with that idiot that's in Nigeria right now, that Tinubu.
Oh yeah,
he's the architect of all this. Let's be honest.
You got it in today for Nigeria.
No, but listen, it's just a
I don't even
fact.
understand why he's a president anyway. But who am I to talk here? I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's him. The man is a seller. The man comes from an ancestor of slave sellers. Anyway, let me just make this clear. He is the one that actually made this thing easier for them to leave because they couldn't trust him. The way he overreacted and how he reacted, that's the reason why they left. They had problems. Listen, AES, ECOWAS is behind the AES, the Sahel countries before they became AES net for a long time. Your president in Ghana, he was traveling around this country for a long time negotiating with them. They never left. When Akufo and Buhari was in power and Macky Sall, they was in power when the two guys took over power. When Assimi Goita and Traore took power. Yeah, it was those three leaders in West Africa, okay? And the guy who was the head of ECOWAS at that time was Embalo Sissoko Embalo from Guinea Bissau, the guy from that small tiny country. And Traore was on the phone to him because I had the interview that Embalo was giving, okay? The interview that Embalo was giving, how the coup d'etat in Burkina Faso happened. Okay, he said my man rang him. It's saying that to negotiate to the Damiba to he's his brother. He don't want to do anything silly, to negotiate with him to come out and stuff like that. Because Embalo said, "Look, I understand military coup is not right, but I can see what these guys were going through, and it was more like an emergency." You understand? So he did not, and it's Embalo who handed over the ECOWAS stewardship to Tinubu. He voluntarily gave it to him. He said, "Look, I am from Guinea-Bissau. I come from a very small country. Okay, I cannot manage this issue. But now you are the new leader, who because I can see Buhari trusted you, and obviously you know how our people work, right? Because he comes from the same ethnic group as Buhari. He said I can see he trusted you, as a guy. So maybe I should give you that extra hand and say, look, you take this responsibility because Nigeria is one of the founding fathers, and I place trust in you. You can actually deal with this, so you can deal with these brothers because we're all one family." That's what he thought anyway. And guess what happened? Tinubu and that Niger coup happened, and Tinubu was like, uh, uh we're gonna call the West, we're gonna call France. And the funny thing is, when Tinubu came to power,
hold on.
yeah,
Can I respond to this dude, Dev Hob?
one second. When Tinubu came, no problem. When Tinubu came to power, the first country he run to, normally a British colony like Nigeria, they would have gone to America or go to Britain, right? Tinubu went to France. He keep going there all the time. People, even in Nigerian people, are like, why is this guy doing it in France? Why does he keep going there? When AES trying to get away from France, the entire francophone, my man is running there. Why?
I mean,
Go on.
seems to.
Yeah,
Oh, carry on.
I just want to respond to this moron, Dev Hub. You said that the AES doesn't contribute to anything. You got your phone right now. I want you to go check, according to the World Bank, the GDP in Burkina Faso prior to IB that
very
came.
well, actually.
It was 19 million before, and when he came, he was able to get up to $33 million. The revenue is going up, roads is getting built, highways is getting connected. Even V can tell you that most of the Burkina Faso in Ghana, they're going back to Burkina Faso. So
Yeah,
you
I
have
mean,
no idea what you're talking about.
we used to have refuge. People were spilling over because of when the trouble was really bad, and we don't have
Right.
those camps anymore. They all been
Right.
shut
You
down
don't
because most have gone back.
ignore
Right.
him. Ignore him. He's a Nigerian. He's a Nigerian. Listen, let me
Oh
tell
yeah,
you one
okay.
thing, right?
You're
One
right.
sec. He's a Nigerian. This is what they do. The thing is, me, used to, us people from Sierra Leone. The last person Nigerians can finesse on is us. The entire listen, the country, like the capital city, without Sierra Leone, it's sitting there dissing Sierra Leone. Let me tell you one thing: without Sierra Leone, Nigeria will be nothing in this current history. There is
Hmm.
nothing that Nigeria have that's nice today that did not come from Sierra Leone. The best capital city that they fighting over called Lagos. Lagos was built by Sierra Leoneans who
That's true.
remigrated to yeah.
That's
The
true.
Afrobeat that is going around the world, booty clapping about today. Afrobeat. It comes from Sierra Leone.
Mm.
Fela Kuti, Fela is his mom's side is a Sierra Leone Yoruba. Fela learned music in Sierra Leone. His mentor was Pino, Geraldo Pino. Everybody know that. The only thing that Nigeria got today that did not have from Sierra Leone is their Nollywood. That's it.
Hmm.
Everything, the language that they speak called pidgin, it comes from our Creole language. So nothing Nigerian can actually show off. You can never show off to us, bro. So you can come here and type what you like. We Sierra Leoneans serve Nigeria. We contributed so much to Nigeria than any other country. The only thing Nigeria did for us is help us, during the civil war. And I doubt it if it was a southerner like Tinubu who was in power. So even if if Tinubu if during the Sierra Leone civil war, if he was a southerner in Nigeria like Tinubu, I guarantee you he will let us die. He will not help. But it's because Sani Abacha is a northerner and he has a lot of connection to our people. That's the reason why he had. When someone is called Freddie, the sorrows of Lagos, right? Let me just say, I can. Everybody knows that. Google it now. Anyone that I want to prove me wrong, come online live right now and prove me wrong that Nigeria, Lagos was built by Sierra Leoneans. Lagos, Nigeria was built by
You're
Sierra.
going to start an endless debate online if you start it. It's never going to end. So don't even encourage it. You know what I mean? Don't even go there. It was never going to end with it. I mean, the way I see things is what they should really concentrate on is fixing their country. The state that things are going on there is no good. That the level of insecurity. I mean, a few weeks ago, a few days ago, actually, a whole school, boys' school, they went there to kidnap children. The teacher was with them and hoping he would protect the boys. They killed the teacher. The
That's so
teacher that was with
terrible,
the
man.
kid. Yeah, they killed the man. And afterwards, they were torturing the boys and then filming it and putting it on the internet. That is not a country. Come on
Mm-mm.
now. I know the Nigerian army are trying with the resources they can, but as you said, it's the politicians. It's always the
Yeah.
politicians that are not resourcing the army to do better. I mean, look at the
And,
Sahel. Now that their army is well resourced, you see how effective they've been. See how
right.
effective they are. But
Especially with
Nigeria
the
is a big country. They claim we have a huge population. We have a bigger man force. Obviously, with your population, you should have more manpower in your army. But what about the equipment and the technical stuff they need to perform and function well as an army? Is it there? No. People are certain areas in Nigeria, they're literally running away from there. They can't sleep.
hmm
I mean, come on now. It's not right. And
yeah,
nobody wants to
it's
talk about it. If you're
yeah,
gonna mention
eh,
anything, it's always about, oh, you are attacking us, oh, you are xenophobic, oh, you are this. They should stop that and really take in that look. If the whole of West Africa was functioning as Nigeria is functioning, would they be trooping into other parts of West Africa? Would they?
mm-mm.
No, no, that's true. That's true. That's true. Absolutely. This is actually 100% true. But the reality is, we have. I'm telling you, it's like a ticking time bomb. Me, I just think in West
Yeah,
Africa we should.
and and then there's this just like you're negotiating. Like this is so disrespectful. I remember they killed one of the. I mean, I'm sorry, they unalived one of the generals. They
Mm,
unalived this dude.
Yeah,
The
yeah, I
dude
heard about
went
that.
to picked up his uniform, went to the government to negotiate. And while he's wearing the general's uniform, I'm saying that that is so disrespectful. Like, yo, that is crazy. Not even the America or even the EU would tolerate anything like that, man.
mm.
Like, it's just crazy, man. Love the dysfunction, man. You can't negotiate with these people, man.
No, you can't. The
You can't.
reality is, as I said to you, mm, as I said to you, time will come in West Africa. We're gonna have to deal with is in a regional basis. Like people in that region called Nigeria, they fix their problem. You know, the AES will fix their problem where
Mhm.
the Guinea Coast. I think that's gonna happen because I can see some movement happening in Ghana. Ghana will help Burkina Faso. I hope Ghana does
Oh,
because if Ghana can do that,
Africa. You know what I found out too? I found out that Botswana, Namibia, Zimbabwe, and Zambia, they're gonna connect their roads and highways together. And Namibia and Botswana, they're about to have a joint task force, a regional task force.
right?
Good. That's good to hear. At least
Yeah.
it's something.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
I mean, if we
that's
all think like that in our countries, respective countries, the leaders think like that, I think we'll
Right.
have progress, won't we?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Definitely have
no. We
progress,
will have
man.
a progress. I think progress come from within, and most countries need to start doing their bits from they have to do their own bits from their own nations. Like Sierra Leone, we have our own problems. We need to fix it. In Guinea, we have our issue. We need to fix it. Like Senegal, they have their own issue at the moment. They need to fix it. You know, AES, we need to help them. Fight insecurity. And help them actually have more access to the sea. That's one thing. That's the only thing they probably need.
Right.
And the Mano River Union is a must. It must happen for us in that Guinea Coast. Um, 100% it must happen in that Guinea Coast, so we can actually help our brothers in the AES. If the
Mm-hmm.
Mano River Union comes to fruition right now, the AES will be the best uh, you know countries in the world, because what will happen is they will become different opposite economy to the coastal zone, and that's exactly what's going to happen. I guarantee you, one day you're going to see some movement is going to come up from the Mano River Union to the EDS. You know,
Right.
yeah,
It's
definitely,
gonna
100%.
it's gonna happen, and I believe that once the AS becomes successful, there's not just militarily, also economically, more countries are going to join, and it's just going to expand. Just like how the thing that they're doing it more of a BRICS type of way. You
Hmm.
see how
Yeah,
BRICS started off like with 4 countries, and now they're like about 11 countries now,
yeah,
permanent
yeah,
countries. So they're doing that
yeah.
because they didn't want to do the same thing with ECOWAS and what the EU did. They went and got all these countries together, and
Forget
that's how
ECOWAS.
the issue
ECOWAS
starts.
is dead.
Yeah,
They
no,
don't know.
ECOWAS is
Dead
yeah,
already.
ECOWAS is just
ECOWAS
it's
is,
done.
yeah, ECOWAS is. I
They're
mean,
yeah,
when you
they're
say it, yeah, carry on. Sorry,
no,
thoughts.
I was
Carry on.
just saying that their influence is done because they've been talking about the currency since 1980, never got implemented. They've been talking about this regional force since 1999, hasn't got implemented. I mean, unless they have more action, I don't think it's
Yeah,
gonna happen with ECOWAS.
no, it's not. It's not. When you speak now, there'll be others that will come on to you and say, "Oh, well, what are you talking about?" And is the Sahelians that is in the wrong? No, the Sahelians are in the right, and the Sahelians will be on the right side of history. Years to
Right,
come, when history talk about West Africa history talk about ECOWAS is dead. ECOWAS has allowed itself to be influenced by all sorts of things. What is called goal, which it was set out for, has deviated and they're not gone back to
Mm.
it. Just like we were
right,
speaking about the currency, what are they doing about the currency? If we have one currency within that region, most of our economic woes will be less because we would be able to trade more within ourselves. And it'd be very, very easy to trade within ourselves, not going to different countries, swapping money and changing monies, you know. And secondly, too, to say that you are pegging the whatever currency that they want to they're discussing how to implement over there to the to the euro. It's all what
Mhm.
Alhassan Ouattara
Yeah.
did. Macky Sall,
Yep.
when he was there, was a little bit, he wasn't quite clear. But these guys, they said that they're not going to. They were in favor of working to bring in the eco as well. But
Right.
now, apparently, the person that they proposed as a prime minister, he hasn't been voted for yet. Now, I don't know if he's going to vote it in. Is in favor of the CFA.
That is crazy.
Right.
He's a banker. He's economics. He's a banker, and he's in favor of the CFA. So where are we going? Are we going backwards or forward? You see, the elite within our society are our downfall. Sometimes we talk about external forces, but really look within ourselves. The elite in our society, the bourgeoisie, that have been so comfortable, fed on the nation's resources, and with no repercussions whatsoever. They are our fault because the elite in Senegal, they are the
V,
ones who influence.
V, V, you got the Nigerians, you got the Nigerians, you got the Nigerians on
What
the
did they,
chat triggers.
They're
so
getting
what they
mad,
say
right?
now? They backing up. What did they say?
You got the Ogama and Vex,
Oh yeah.
Oh, that man
This
Vex.
guy
So
saying
yeah, what did I
he's
say?
saying
The
What did I say
Nigerians
to
are
Vex?
listen.
we
He
get the
said,
Nigerians trigger today, bro.
let me just answer this to you, me, 1414, right? The AES, they're building their military. The military is getting stronger. They have a joint military. They're building their economy. They have multiple corridors and they got multiple partners. You're saying that the AES is going to fail? The only way it's going to fail is from within. As far as the outside, it's just not going to happen. So until
Yeah.
then, I don't think they're gonna fail because they got everything covered.
It will only fall from within, as you said,
Yeah,
and because
within, not
they
from the
know
outside.
what their end goal is, they know what they need to do, they know what they have to achieve. Their end goal is they're not gonna fail. They won't fail.
Mm-hmm.
It is we
Yeah.
that are failing. We are failing. So what are you?
Mm-hmm.
What are they talking about? You have a giant of a country called Nigeria that cannot get it together, and it's the repercussions is falling on all the other smaller countries. They keep saying, "Oh, we're giant and A, B, C, D." I mean, leave the small countries that are sitting in their countries alone. Let them mind their own business and do their own thing. Then why are you
Yeah,
not
just
trooping
leave
in
us
them?
this small.
Trooping them out?
Why
Yeah.
exactly? Yeah, why you focus on
Hold
these small
on.
countries that you?
No, go ahead, Africa. We got two people on the panel. I don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
Oh
say.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Go on, man.
yeah, they always overhyping their population, but the population that haven't benefited nothing, they haven't done anything. If anything, they have gained from Sierra Leone more than any other country in the world, including the white man. I'll just pass the mic. Thank you.
Who's next to speak? Who came first? I don't know. I'm not keeping the other
I think
guy.
it was let Super African speak then Bye because Bye already spoke in the past. I think that's
Okay.
Super African is your best friend, Bang, the Saloon Bobo.
Oh, hello, Bang.
Yeah, how you doing,
Hello,
V? How's
my best
everybody?
my best fuller man. How the body?
Uh,
Body fine. Body fine, Charlie. Body fine, Charlie. Yeah, the body
Bana
fine,
Rari
Charlie.
boy.
Uh,
That Rari man,
Uh,
no man.
um, how's everybody, man? Dennis, man, how you
Yeah, we're good,
doing?
we're
okay.
good, we're good.
Okay.
Great.
Um, so what's this? Like Senegal, the split between Faye and Sonko. How's it going to affect the AES? Um, it's it's a give and take because now from my understanding, I think Sonko is trying to be the head of the house or something like that in Senegal, where I think where they oversee the government, of the president. I think something like that. So I'm not
Hmm.
sure if he does get into that position as well, because then he could investigate the government and look at what they're trying to do and stuff like that. But overall, with the AES, like truly speaking, to me, Diomaye is not going to try to align with the AES to the way he's supposed to. He definitely not going to be Algeria or Morocco, for sure. He's not going to be one of those two countries at all. But but he's not going to be as friendly the way he should. No, is he going to join the AES? And I don't think so at all. But overall, it's a give and take, man, because because at the end of the day, right? If we have to look at it, right? We are going against, you know, corporations, like multiple corporations that want our resource. Because most of these like most of these powerful people, we don't really know who they are. All they just send their representatives, which is the country, and a bunch of NGOs as well. Because to me, like some of these people would not stop at all to come and take Africa resource. Would not at all. They would try to find all type of ways to do it. Once oil is involved in Senegal, it had changed everything completely. And then you talk about gas as well, because the Europeans, they need those two things, especially like the European Union. They need those things for them to survive, and then sustain the economy, because it's cold out there. So basically they're gonna try to subjugate that the government as much as possible, for them to get benefit, like for them to get like whatever they want for their own industry as well, and then their own citizens. To me, like, I don't think Africans, black people around the world, really understand what's really going on, and how desperate these people are, or how much desperate it would be for them to come and take our resource. And I don't think we have that killer instinct to really, not like all of us, but the majority of us don't have the killer instinct the way they do, because of we still think these people are, they come and save us, they saint, they not bad and stuff like that. But like, when you look at history, when you look at how far they go, like for them to get what they want, they do all type of things. And for us now, we don't have that mindset of that oh, how we gonna protect ourselves if they do go this far? Like, how low would they go, and how low we could go with them as well? Because to me, I think it's very, very important for us to understand that. And Senegal could play a great part, because I mentioned this before. It is the same people, Senegalese and Malians. It's about 80% the same people, even culture wise, language wise. I mean, how
Yeah,
difficult it is.
true.
Let's be honest with ourselves. They speak French as well. Besides the French language, even culture wise, even native language as well. It's about 80% or 90%, except for the Azwaris, because I don't believe that they have them in Senegal, or they have a massive population out there. But beside that, like, it is the same people. I mean, think about it. Look how difficult it is for you to work with your brothers and sisters, speak the same language when it comes to national language as well, when it comes to native language as well. It's very, very similar. I'm probably like almost 90%. But for some reason, man, we just can't look at the bigger picture to say the better of us is to work with our brothers and sisters. Put our differences aside, put our egos aside. How can we go after these elites in our country that keep enabling these behaviors? Because look at our continent. I mean, nobody's not gonna come up here and tell me that our continent is doing good. Our ability, we haven't even touched like 5% of it. I was watching the news from Western media. You know, Burkina Faso has 15 industrial mines, 15 of them, right? Out of those 15, 5 of them is state owned. So which means now, out of those 5, so most likely 55% is state owned. I mean, think about it now. A year before, like 3 years ago, that country did not even own one out of those 15 industrial mines. Less than 4 years ago, that country did not even own one. Now they own 5 of them out of 15, out of 55%.
You said which country was this, Faye?
This Burkina Faso.
Oh yeah,
There was a
yeah.
report they did. Yeah, but there was a report that I saw today from a Western media today. I mean, think about it though.
That's
A country that
impressive.
has endless, yes, in less than 3 to 4 years. Look how quickly they got control of majority of their gold. 15 industrial mines, right? 15 of them. How are those 15? 5 of them is state owned.
That's good.
In less than 3 to 4 years. This is what I want Africa. This is what I want black people around the world to realize. What we have in this continent. If we don't protect it, for our kids. Some of these elders that's in the 50s, in the 60s, in the 70s as well, they have to come out and say the truth. They failed the continent. They failed the continent. If a young man could come up, in less than 4 years, out of those 15 industrial miles, 5 of them could be state-owned.
How do we protect it?
You got to protect them with guns. I'm telling you, you have to be violent. I'm like, I don't want to say, but the truth is the truth, because there's so many people that benefit of this destruction of Africa. Forget about the white people. It's the people within us first you got to destroy that benefit of this crap. These people, some of them will do anything to make sure the system continues.
To keep the status quo. Yeah, it's true.
You have to get these people out. Because you cannot tell me America come in less than 4 years in a country like that half of its territory was under terrorists. That quickly could get hold of 5 industrial gold mines, state-owned. And then probably the other 10, the country probably own about, let's just say about 20% or 15, but at least I know for sure about 20%. So imagine you give them another 5 more years. They could double from 5 to 10.
Right.
I mean, gold is real money. Gold is real money. How can we come together and realize these things? Because if we continue like this, we are done for the next 50 more years.
Yeah.
I mean, a politician cannot come fool me no more. My own country. We had that gold mine somewhere in Kono. For like what? How long? When you go over there, there was a gold mine somewhere in my country. Man, when you see the dust, when you see this place, when you see how people live, there's a gold mine right around there. When you see the dust, when you inhale that dust, the sickness you get, and then the place has been like that for years. Forget about the president that's in power right now, the previous president in power right now, the other president. It is the same agenda. But a man could come with a vision like that and say, you know what? We're going to take back this. My country do not even own a state gold mine. But we are under democracy. We under the democracy, man. Forget about the current president. It was the same system with the other president as well. The other one as well. So how can we, if you love your continents, if you love your ethnicity, what can you do so that we could be in a better position that we do deserve? So other black people around the world could come in and help us as well. Because if the continent does not fix, all these black people around the world will not get respect. I don't care.
That's true.
There's so many. There's so many ways, man. It's man. When I look at the report, because for a Westerner,
hey guys, let me pass the mic to Babaliko.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
my
Babaliko.
bad.
It's okay, Bang. I like I like to hear you talk because you make a lot of sense. He's one of my favorite on near you and St. James. I just had to say is on the topic with Faye and Sonko. We know that from since election, when he get elected, Faye get elected, that he was going to sell out from when he went over to France and start hugging up on Macron with a nice watch he had on. We know that Sonko, everything he get, he was a little dusty little guy in Senegal until Sonko make him shine like a diamond. Now he sell out. No, Sonko make him shine. It's a fact. And now he want to step on the guy that make him shine. You know what I'm saying? Because he's scared. But I ain't blame Faye because Faye is a scared. He's like, it have Africans who is warriors. Faye's not a warrior. He's a little punk. So that's why he run into France. He don't want to see bombs under his car, and he don't want to fight. He don't want to do that. He just want to send his wife them to Paris to get diamond rings and go and clothes. He don't want to fight no war like the AES. So you have to excuse Faye. You know what I'm saying? But Sonko kind of shaky too, because I was following Sonko for a while until when they get elected, he was on national TV, was saying something about being too radical and stuff like that. And you know, if you're radical, man. You don't switch for nobody, Sonko. You know, we need you there because you need to join the AES next. You need to win the next election and watch your back. That's what you got to do now because Faye and France is going to be after you.
They might put him in prison.
Huh?
They might put Sonko back into prison.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He got to watch his back now. I don't know if they're going to put him back to prison or if they might try to poison his food. They might try to do something. He got to watch his back now because they know the people is with Sonko. You know, the only thing they can do, I tell you what France really good with is rigging elections. They might try to rig the election in favor of Faye or one of these guys or the you know, it's have a military guy there. He been trained in France and trained in America. He's waiting for his turn. He's watching Faye and Sonko, and he is waiting to jump in here and say, yeah, let me set stuff in order. So Sonko got to be careful, man. We want Sonko there. We don't want nobody else but him. You know what I'm saying? Faye is going to get sleepless nights, man. With those people on the street, he's going to get sleepless nights because you are for, and this is how Africans sell out all the time. You see when Abraham Traore and France pay these military guys money and they want a coup. This Faye is one of those guys. Faye is one of those guys who would take the money and would have tried to overthrow Sonko. He's one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? So we got the. Yeah,
what he's done is equivalent to a coup. You came in with one party. He's discarded all of them and bringing in different guys.
But guess what? Sonko is going to go into the house. He's going to be the speaker. He's going to make his life a living hell. You can't be a president with a guy with a guy party. It makes no sense. You as a president, but the party, everybody is with Sonko. So you set yourself up. Best you to just leave the guy alone. You set yourself up to look like the enemy of and you know the youths already is them youths them don't want to see France. They don't want to hear nothing about them. So right now he is making himself look bad. Faye should have just left Sonko alone. You know what I'm saying? But this is what's gonna happen. All these leaders is gonna show their hand from Faye to Ivory Coast, all of them is going to show their hand just now, and you know everything is going to be open out in the open, because enough is enough now, man. A lot of these leaders should be jumping on the bandwagon right now on the AES. I don't know what's going on. Like Bang was saying, I don't understand what is wrong with some of these leaders, man. You know, they're just there to fill their pockets and send their children to schools or overseas, so they don't want to do nothing, and that's the problem. But these leaders, I'm telling you, man, Macron got a year and some change left. He's coming. He's going to put everything he's going to get in to destroy one of these leaders from the AES. So they got to stand strong.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, you go ahead, man.
Since you mentioned, right, the party controls a lot of the seats over there in Senegal, right? Do you think, because to me, I do believe that the West is cooking up something behind closed doors. Most likely they might try to bribe those politicians to go against Sonko.
I was thinking that too. Mm-hmm.
Because to me, you know, at the end of the day, you understand me, right? So like, man, so what you think?
But the people is watching. You see, you could bribe, but the people are not going to forget, because now the people are going to say, "Oh, so they're going to know." All the ones who said no who's going to say no against Sonko, they're going to be watching. You understand? They're going to be watching, because what the leaders and a lot of these politicians fail to realize is after they've done their term and everything done, you're going to be a nobody. Nobody's going to respect you. Your name is not going to go down in history. Nobody's going to respect you. You see, and that's the thing with these guys. You know, I hear one of the leaders talking like he's so jealous of Abraham. Like, why everybody always talking about this guy? Because the guy is doing what people wanted for a long time. The guy is doing what people wanted. So these guys who is going to sell out Sonko is good. Let them take the money now, because when Sonko get in power, if Sonko reach in power, we don't want those guys around. So let them take the money now so we could get them out of there.
Okay.
But
check this out too, right?
By Ibrahim.
If they do if they do take the money, right? Because technically the election is 2029. It's about 3 years from now, right? It's about 3 years from now. So if they do take the money, right, and then Diomaye has control of the parliament, right? So what do you think France is going to try to do within those 2 or 3 years before the election? Because now they might.
It's two things France always does. France always does. France, and that's why I laugh when he's in Kenya talking about he's turning a new leaf. Turning a new leaf. Yeah, your enemies will never turn a new leaf. Never. They'll be there in your ass. France is gonna pay, as you say, pay money, try to get rid of Sonko, or pay money for those leaders and make sure they keep Sonko out. It's either those two. Take him out or pay money for them big leaders to keep him out.
I mean,
listen, I don't think they can put him back in jail anymore. The people is not going to allow that. That's too much.
Taking him out, do you reckon Faye will want it on his watch? Because then do you have a situation where you're going to have this guy in a sort of in a legendary kind of situation, you know?
Yeah, they don't care. France don't care. France want power. They want to keep their people in power. They don't care if the people are mad if they take you out. Look how much of people love the AES. You think they care? They want to take out Kogoita. They want to take out Abraham Traore. They don't care. Sonko got to watch his back. I'm telling you, they got to watch. And it will be something easy. There'll be something easy like, oh, Sonko get cancer and he died in a chair. Something easy. It's easy like that. I'm telling you, he got to watch his back.
In Kuma, he ended up with cancer, a fit man.
You see?
And my dad telling me that they poisoned him.
Yeah, I believe that too. I believe they poisoned him in Kuma.
So that's what I'm saying, man. Sonko got to watch his back. He's in trouble. Imagine if Senegal going to the AES, France in big trouble. France in big trouble. The Senegal going to AES. It's a wrap. Because that's the ocean right there. And everything gonna be coming through Senegal. They're gonna be on, you know what I'm saying? So France is gonna have to take out Sonko. They're gonna try something. I'm telling you. They're gonna do it.
Yeah,
those people, man, they share culture. It's like it's nothing. It's a simple transition for Senegal and Mali just to come together. It is a simple transition, man. I'm telling y'all, it is a simple transition. It is as simple as it is. The way. No, we know because I understand he won't do it, but just it proves the point that we keep saying. These leaders are not there to empower their citizens. They just not there to empower the citizens. They know that, but it's just like they play dumb as if they don't know. And then I hate when people acknowledge as if these leaders are dumb. They not dumb. They not dumb. It's just they're just good at playing as if they don't know what they're doing, as if they don't like oh my God, our citizens need this, our citizens need that, as if they don't know.
Hey, Bang. Yeah. You know, I know Faye was a joke when he came to the US and he said, "Hey man, we need to invest in a golf course."
Oh man,
yeah.
It took you that long, man. It took you that long. Remember, people used to get on me. People used to get on me on the show right here. People used to get on me on the show right when I said,
go easy on my guy.
People used to get on me when I said Diomaye is a sellout. Those are Senegalese. They used to come on this show. He got on me. Said, "Oh, he's not.
No, but
he's a Pan-African, just like the AES." I said, "No."
No, but I don't know about.
There was something about him that triggers me off.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think. You know, we need to just hold the best, let them sort this out. But based on what I'm hearing, Vice, he can break it down for us between their relationship. Based on what I'm hearing, this is all game. They're playing politics because, as I said earlier, they want to control it. They want to change laws. They want to implement tough laws to bring austerity. Because the thing is, they came in on populism, right? That they're gonna provide jobs, they're gonna provide this, they're gonna provide that. They know. Let's be realistic, right? These guys know what they got themselves into. They know Macky Sall, borrowed a lot of money, for infrastructural development, which he did, and they know he signed a lot of trade deals with some multinational corporations. That wasn't, basically the best, but which he did. They know exactly before you come to government. You know exactly what, because when you're in opposition, you get all the data. They know exactly what they was getting themselves into, and they promise you to all this stuff. And now obviously they got the IMS facing them, and that's obviously the West, who they actually work closer with. And now they have to change their tune. So they might be sitting there and say, "Look, let's pretend, we're falling out. Let's do this. Because they're gonna have to go back. They're gonna have to go back for election. Because if they don't strategize very well, the opposition is gonna come back to power. This is how African politics work. So they might have said, "Look, let me pretend like I've done this, and I'm gonna get rid of you. You go to the parliament, just pass and reject all the laws, and make pass austerity according to the IMF, what the IMF wants, because now IMF is gonna take control of their political strategies now. Now they're gonna
Yeah,
say to them, "You're gonna have to cut this. You're gonna cut this. You're gonna cut this. You're gonna cut this." Based on what
Africa.
I spoke to a Senegalese guy who is my friend Falo. That's exactly what he said to me. He said, "You don't." He said, "Forget about all this noise." That's because yesterday I had a different tune to what I have today. Today he said to me, "Forget about all this noise. These guys are still brothers. They still work together. There's something going on that maybe me and you don't know." I say, "Okay, okay." So
I
I
Africa.
take his
agree.
word. Yeah.
I mean,
Can I
Africa.
Do
ask
you
you a question
agree?
back?
Let
Yeah,
me
yeah,
let me
yeah,
say
yeah,
this, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
Let me say
let him
this.
come in here.
Yeah, let me
Yeah.
say this, right?
Okay.
To me,
Mm-mm,
to me,
mm.
to me, this is not a game. This is legit. Both of them are going
Okay,
separate ways. Both of them are going
okay,
separate
okay,
ways. The
okay.
IMF has the hand in it, right? Just like you said. I agree everything you said about the IMF. The IMF has the hand in it. Just like how yesterday I mentioned the IMF, it is a cartel financial. That's what they are. That's exactly what they are.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
exactly.
exactly what they
Okay,
are. So
let him
yeah,
buy
yeah.
his
So
speak.
it all
Mm.
depends on the way, but things might get super ugly.
I hope not. But I hear you. I hear you. Bye. It's your
I
yeah. Go
think
on, bye.
you know what I think is going on. I think you have to think, like, yeah, like what you said earlier. All of this stuff has been set up by design. Um, you have to play a game in order to get funding. You know what I mean? It comes down to the 132% debt that they owe, and because they were being honest about the situation, there was consequences. You know what I mean? And a lot of people in government, even in the United States, they want to make their government look good. So, in order to make government look good, certain stuff you're not going to release to the public because it's going to go against whatever agenda. So, for the Macky Sall regime, because due to the fact that they withheld certain information, they were able to get more loans from the IMF at a reduced rate. And obviously, this new government that we have in office now is the opposition of the Macky Sall regime. So they were trying to expose them, and in return, they got hurt in the process. So if now that I look at it, now that I
Uh,
analyze it, and I hear from other people, I believe
mhm.
that yes, this was set up by design. Ousmane Sonko is not really fired from his job. He's not the prime minister anymore, but he's still going to hold a position in the seat for as a House Speaker. And not only that, they control pretty much everything. His party. So anything Faye tries to push can be rejected on the behest
Right.
of Sonko. You know what I mean? Because it comes and unfortunately in African politics, it all comes down to loyalty. It doesn't come down to
Right.
doing the right thing, and everybody is out for their own self. If you really look at it,
Right.
no one is interested
Mm-hmm.
in building a country. You lie to certain people who are incompetent because you need them to vote for you. Democracy is only for one day. You need people to vote so you can get into office. And these are numbers, and these are bodies that has constitutional right to vote. And yeah, so that's my opinion when it comes to that.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, you're from the ground, so and that's exactly the opinion I had from my friend, and I had from different Senegalese brothers. And so I can't
So
say anything else to that.
you
No,
guys
no,
reckon
this
that
no, no.
ideally,
This is no. Go ahead, V. Go ahead, V. After you.
yeah,
After
if
you.
you
My bad. My
guys
bad.
reckon that if Sonko gets into the parliament and become a speaker, Faye will not mind. Will
I
not
don't
bring
think he
up Faye.
has. As I said before, in the sum of substance, this is set up by design in order to get funding by the IMF. As long as Ousmane Sonko remains in power as a prime minister, a lot of outside foreign investors are going to be reluctant to invest. And I also want to note too, before I end my statement, right? When Sonko got into office, him and Faye, all the projects that they were building in Senegal, like as far as like the condominiums, they also had a partnership with Tailum Group, which is an African-based company based in Senegal, and they have a big presence in Ivory Coast too, head by Yirim Sow. All those contracts stopped, and all the investors left because of Ousmane Sonko. Once they heard of him being there, they didn't feel comfortable. And the thing about the government is you need to have confidence in your investors. Your investors have to be confident in you. And the African market is not really stable, especially when you change administration.
Let me say this, right? Just like I mentioned, the IMF is a finance cartel. That is facts. The IMF is a
That's a
finance
fact.
cartel. That is facts. That is facts. This is now no joke or strategy. These men are going opposite directions. These men are going opposite directions. So I don't like the last time I checked, IMF does not develop any country. You cannot name your country that the IMF strictly developed where you go like,
None.
oh wow,
IMF doesn't
IMF did
develop
that.
the country.
Come
No,
on, man.
it's true.
Stop. So people need to stop talking to us as if we're not in tune what's really going on. If you could take that to somebody else talking point, but not up here, please. This is a structure. The IMF is trying to control that country. They want the resource. They want the oil. They want the gas as cheap as possible. That's exactly what this is about, foundation-wise. This is not about, we're going to bring investment to Senegal, and then one day Senegal going to be prosper and then super developed. The IMF does not operate like that, especially in Africa. They did to make sure the country does not develop itself. They did to make sure the country just sustain itself like that.
You're right. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to cut you off, but I just want to add, I want to agree with you. The IMF does not determine is not responsible for building the country. The country is. However, the funds that they release to the country, if we have competent government that know how to manage the fund correctly,
I won't put it like that.
That's how you develop.
I know what you're doing. I won't put it like that. You slick with it. I can tell you slick with it. I won't put it like that. That's not the case. Just like how I mentioned, right?
I'm about to become a lawyer. Yes, I'm very slick with it. Yes.
Yeah, I can tell what you just did. You came with a real slick, and then you added, and then
get him, bang.
And then you shift off. You try to put the blame to the government. I know exactly what you did. You try to act like IMF just came. You say, guys, we're just gonna give you $500 million. Just do what you want with it. We're just gonna sit back. No. The IMF does not operate like that. The IMF, it is a cartel finance. That's what they are. It was built to be a cartel finance. Up to this day, it still is. The IMF gives you money and put all type of rules and everything in it to make sure that money they give you, nothing great come out of it. And as a return, they want your resource. That's exactly what the IMF is.
Where's the reference when it comes to that? Where can I go to cite what you're talking about?
My brother.
You could see it. You could see it was in Africa. I mean, we can go. You can see what they're doing.
Hold on.
Look at Africa.
Right? Hold on. Remember in Kenya, right?
Bad
when the youth came out. Hold on. Remember in Kenya, right? A couple years ago, when the youth came out, right, and demonstrated. Who do you think they was going after? It was because the IMF. Because the IMF forced William Ruto to give everything to them. When the youth came out and looked at it and said, hell no, we're not about doing that, right? It was because the IMF wanted their land, wanted everything. They choked that country. When the youth came out and demonstrated, then the IMF stayed back. And then now what they're doing is they slowly implement the same agenda, but they doing step by step. They doing it step by step. The IMF used the system that they created, right, which is funding the other countries, right, to make sure they capture your resource. They give you all this money, but then they put it into like a way that you can't use. The money is not free. You don't have no flexibility. So what the hell are you gonna do with the money? Nothing. At the end of the day, it's there for a reason. It's there so that they can come and take your resource. That's exactly what it's there for. That's why they control your president. That's why majority of the time they pick a leader that's gonna sign a stupid deal with that. Because any sensible president is not gonna agree to a deal like that. They're just gonna throw it away or go somewhere else, or go to China or something like that. Right. That's why the West hate China and Russia. Because you know why? Russia and China gives them other options.
That's fact.
Exactly. When you see Kenya economy like this, right? Who do you think build the airports? Who do you think build the train system? Who do you think build the stadiums? Who do you think build the highways, the roads? It was the Chinese. And they came from the IMF. The IMF don't build nothing. They don't build nothing.
I never said they did.
Man, stop
and
it.
Comes down to the government. The government chooses who they want to do business with. The government chooses the contract according to whoever.
Nah, brother, man.
The IMF is a cartel. The IMF it is a cartel.
That's not true.
That's why I use the word cartel.
Yeah, it's not true.
The IMF it is a cartel.
Okay, but
the IMF it is a cartel.
But Ben, let me answer what you're saying too, because my brother, you're not understanding, right? When the IMF goes and it sees that the debts that you have, they'll sit there and say, I'll give you a prime example. They say country A, right, wants a loan from the IMF. They get like $100 million. The IMF will go and say, okay, we'll give you this money, but you have to partner with this corporation, that corporation, and this corporation.
Higher interest.
Yeah, and high interest rates.
And then stop doing this to your citizens. Cut this, cut that, cut all that. And then the money still recycled to themselves. So they give you super high interest.
What are the alternatives?
So come on, man.
What are the alternatives here? What are the alternatives here? If we don't want to use the IMF, where do we go to get funding?
Do it like Abraham Traore, man.
Yeah,
exactly.
So I mean,
do it like Traore.
If you got gold, do with your gold. If you ain't got gold, go through China.
No, but bang. How Qatar and Dubai and them build with just oil? How those countries build up so nice with just oil? And Africa got 10 times more earth materials than these countries.
Exactly, my brother. They want the oil. Exactly. They want the oil in Senegal. They want the oil in Senegal. That's what they want. They want that. They want it under their own control, under their own demand. That's exactly what this is about.
That's the first
the
step.
foundation of all this comes back to the resource. The problem.
That's the first step.
The issue is now it's the guy that's in the president. He doesn't have the balls to go after the IMF. He don't have it. He don't have the balls. He just don't have it. I've been saying this for like a year and a half. Diomaye does not have the balls to go against these people. Sonko does. Sonko does. Not every man are built to lead.
Mm-hmm.
Some men are built to follow.
Yes.
Facts.
Yes.
Some men are built to lead. Some men are built to follow in a good way. Some men are sneaky as hell. They will backstab you behind your back. They don't have no primacy. They talk a good game, but at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, they will sell you out for nothing. It's a DNA thing. Some men, that DNA passed on. It is a DNA thing. If you check the family lineage, you could tell. Some people, if you check the family lineage, you could tell this family, this is what they do. This is how they behave. With certain people in Africa, right, when they want to get married, they look at the family history. They go to the villages and then ask the families who this wife married to. And then they go back and look at the history, how well this relationship was. Did they divorce? Did they scatter? These are things that people do back home up to this day. So they look at the history of this family. Because you know why? You want to trace the DNA behavior, how they behave. It is the same thing with some men and some females. They're not meant to lead. They are followers. Some men are coward. They just disguise it as if they are proud men. As they care about the people.
Listen, right? Me, see, I don't I wouldn't go that far, bro. Because at the end of the day, we got to respect other people's opinion and their, what wish for their country. Because that's how it is. The what as I said to you, we can go backward and forward, but what majority of the people I came across said about what's going on in Senegal is not as bad as what people are making it out to be. There might be some ideological differences between the two, but
Come on, Africa, Africa,
they're still
come on,
working. No,
come
but
on, brother.
honestly, they're still working together, and I think
No. Let him speak. Let him speak. Let him speak. Man, I gotta respond for him. No
Africa,
problem.
Africa,
okay.
come on,
No, I
man.
got him.
No,
Let
but
him speak. Let him speak. I gotta respond for him. Let him speak.
this is this. I mean, what I said earlier, from the beginning, look, I'm just saying what I allegedly, okay, and what people said to me. And I'm not from Senegal. I'm not gonna speak. I'm not gonna be here talking like I am a Senegalese guy. I don't know exactly the ins and outs of their politics and what's going on in there. But speaking from the outside, people are telling me it's not as bad as we're making it to be. This is a plan between them two, and to actually pass some laws. And don't forget, I said to you when Macky Sall was in power, he signed a lot of deals. I said that earlier. Someone in the comment section just reaffirmed that. You see, the more I speak, sometimes the more other people come in and just said exactly what I'm saying. That Macky Sall did sign a lot of contracts that these guys that came in, they didn't see fit. Disagree with it. And that's why asking so many contracts, that's meaning asking so many money coming in, so many incomes. And they finish with private sector, private companies, because that's the path that Senegal chose. Okay. Now you can either choose as a government, you can either choose. We can sit there and talk about emotions, about Pan Africanism, how this one can do this one haven't done that. But if you don't get into the nitty gritty of the reality on the ground, we're just wasting our time talking here. It's a country like Senegal. They run on private sector majority, and the thing is, like people like Sonko, his ideology, it seemed to me he liked to run a big business, the big government. Sorry, Diomaye Faye is a guy who likes to run a small government. So this is the difference here between those two guys. However, they belong to the same political party, and when people say it's Diomaye Faye that Sonko that brought Faye into power, yes, partly that's true, but partly no, it's not true because it's Faye's people. I want he got his own block of people. He got his own people. How which are the majority of the normal voters. However, Sonko got the populist voters, like the younger generation who was in the street. Okay, so they both came together and they brought their block of vote together and they won. So you can't just take the credit from the other guy. But what I'm trying to say is the system how Senegal is run, the Senegalese brother is here is trying to put that down to you. You can see the way he break it down is a Senegal is based on private sector. The economy is run on private sector. For example, the AES, which we're doing the wrong comparison. The AES, they're more like, I would say, more like a socialist type of government where they actually like to nationalize things, where everything is under their control. They will decide, who will, yeah, they will decide how the company is run and who
That's why
run the
Africa
company,
Yeah,
how much
needs
they
it's
make.
Okay,
it's not it's not it's not all all
Africa,
sectors. There's only certain
Africa,
sectors
right?
like 3 or 4.
Yeah,
Let's
but
just say,
these are two different type of economy and two different type
okay,
of system and two
okay.
different type of ideology. So we need to get these things into context while we speak. Otherwise, we're just going to be
No. We
rambling
got
all
that.
night.
We got that, right? It's a private,
Mm.
corporation, right? Okay, but look at the country itself, right? Look at the country itself, right? So, are you going to tell me, as an African, are you going to be proud of Senegal? Is Senegal trying to be a first world country? Is Senegal pushing technologies? Is Senegal pushing infrastructures? Is Senegal, pushing industries? No. So, which means the path the country has been for the past 30 years, it's not going nowhere. It's not going nowhere. Why?
So
When you just said
are
it's
you saying
privatized. Hold on. You just said it's
uh,
privatized, right? You just said it's privatized. So if it's privatized, that
is
means that the
private
country
sector run?
it's been explored. It's been explored by foreigners.
I
It's
am
been
not
explored by foreigners.
Hey,
saying
hey,
I
hey,
don't.
hey,
I
guys,
am not.
we gotta close out. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time,
Okay,
family.
thank you.
Dynasty,
Y'all
search for
stay
Huru.
on, stay on,
Peace.
stay on.